can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual Clarence 13X, a worthy guest. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North America, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Best.
Crumb TV.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Yes, indeed. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to another episode, ladies and gentlemen, of Third Eye Thursdays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. All right. And that song that you just heard right there, that song you just heard right there, that is Theta Waves featuring the Twin Pillars off of that Red Summer Deluxe. All right, that Red Summer Deluxe. How's everybody doing today? How y'all doing? Shout out to everybody pulling up, all right, on this good Thursday. Let me know. We're going to give y'all a few minutes, and then we are going to give you the roll call. All right, we're going to do the roll call. See who in the building. Man. Yes, indeed. All right. Y'all said y'all good. I got that damn New York song in the back of my head. I'm trying to shake that shit. I'm Alicia Keys, leave me alone. The fuck? Yo, why my dad low key just reminded me, he blew my spot up. He was like, yeah. You seen that performance by Alicia Keys, who you was stalking, you was infatuated with. I was like, Alicia Keys? That's Swiss Beats' wife. he had to remind me when I was a little youth, when we was younger and whatnot. I had a thing for Miss Alicia Keys when she first popped out. I don't know if y'all was outside for that, but when she first popped out and shit, she had the hood and the headlock. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot what the song was and whatnot, but she damn sure had a. She had your bro. She had she had me in a headlock for a minute, man. You know. Then he was like, "Yeah, remember she shot a video, and you was trying everything in your power to get around to get next to her." I was like, "Okay, all right." You reminded me of some shit that I definitely forgot because it's not like that anymore. But yeah, shout out to her, man. Yeah, the video with Most Def. She was pressure, bro. Yeah, I think I'm falling. My dude Preston was in the video. My dude Preston was in her video. Niggas was low key tight at Preston. Like, damn, son, you ain't invite us to the video shoot and shit. Remember the video where she was sleeping with, she was cheating, and my dude came out the brownstone and she was driving by and he was holding a baby carriage. Yeah, that's my dude Preston from Flatbush and whatnot. He had a whole run back in the days. He was doing the modeling shit and whatnot. But yeah, I was on her. Yeah, I was on her body when she first came out. She was playing the piano and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, look at her. But then it wore off. You know, it wore off. And then Swiss Beats pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Put her in a headlock. Yeah, that was like the early 2000s and shit. You don't know my name. Oh my goodness. Headlock, I tell you. You feel me? And remember, back in those days, there wasn't social media, so I couldn't go down her timeline. There wasn't no DMs and shit. You had to wait for the Source magazine. So whatever they told you, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? We was on a month-to-month stalker type shit. We had to wait till the next issue came out to get our stalk on. Like, yo, what's her email? Because you didn't really know nothing. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know where they came from. You didn't know where they live. You didn't know their email. You know what I'm talking about? You didn't know they birth date. She was once on a Cosby show. For real? Doing what? I had no idea she was on a Cosby show. Enlighten me. Before she came out, when she was like an extra and whatnot. I didn't know about that. I did not know about that. But shout out to Alicia Keys. I know she tired of singing that fucking song. God damn it. I was looking at her at the parade and she brought her son to play the piano. That's cute. You know what I'm talking about? But then when she started singing that shit, I'm looking at her and it looked like she was like, God damn, not this again. She was Rudy's little friend. Oh, I got to go to the archives. Yeah, I just learned something new today. I had no idea that was Rudy's homie. I'm gonna go check out the art. You gotta have me Googling things after this show is over. You know? She was looking, it looked like she was looking for Jay-Z and shit. Like, I hope this nigga Jay-Z come out. I'm tired of singing this damn song. Knowing that she probably is gonna sing this shit 50 more times before August. You know? She's literally about to she gonna sing this thing about 50 more. No, I did not touch the town. I couldn't. Nope. I tried, man. Believe me when I tell you, I tried. I did not touch the town, man. I'm one of them New Yorkers that was watching that shit on the TV, man. You know, but I will be there for the 4th of July. And I'm in negotiations with the mayor and some other people who hit heavy out there about a possible red pill summer. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to my knickerbockers and whatnot, and we might have a red pill summer in New York City. I don't know. We still negotiating the numbers and whatnot. I'm like, let me see the numbers. Let it make sense. If it makes sense, we might be able to do something. You know what I'm talking about? We might be able to do something. Cause I talked to my dad. I was like, so I'm on the phone packing and shit. I'm like, so we gonna mob out, right? He like, nah, I'm going to North Carolina. I'm like, what? So I don't want to put my dad's business all out there, but I did tell y'all that I met my new sister like 2 years ago. Shout out to Karima. Shout out to her. You know, she's older than me. So her birthday, he's going to spend that Father's Day with his new daughter. So I was like, okay. So I was like, you know, he said, I'm flying out on Friday. I said, shit, we're going to be at the parade on Thursday. He was like, what parade? I said, nigga, the Knicks. The fuck you talking about? He was like, do you think I'm going to be at a fucking parade, nigga? You know, my dad, he chilling, but I don't think he wanted to, you know what I mean, climb on the light poles with us. He's not in his early yeah. And then I asked my son, I was like, you know what? Let me just go with Amir. You know what I'm saying? I know my son gonna want to mob out with me. I'm like, hey son, we pulling up. He was like, pulling up where? I was like, to the parade. He was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna watch that from TV. Damn. So I literally was going to be there with these two because they're like the biggest Knickerbocker fans and shit. So if they cool, I'm cool. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, you know what? I'll see y'all in a few weeks. And yeah, I'm in the A. But I'm like, y'all already know what I said. I'm over Atlanta. You know what I mean? I've been told y'all that. No disrespect to Atlanta, but the sun is setting out here for me. You know, I'm over Atlanta. You know, shout out to Atlanta, whoop de woo. But I'm definitely over Atlanta, especially for the summer. You know, I had enough lemon pepper wings. You know what I'm talking about? My Publix, my Publix, my Kroger card didn't even swipe the other day. I said, that must be a sign. That must be a sign. You know, I'm ready to swipe a Metro card, my niggas. But I don't know. I'm gonna weigh it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna weigh it out. We'll see. You feel me? We will see. Let's do the roll call. Let's see who's in the building. I see y'all filling up real quick. Let's see who's in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. You gotta have your bread right to be in New York City. You damn right. You are damn. I might have to launch my OnlyFans if I go to New York City because I need some extra income being out there. You know what I'm talking about? You just can't have one income stream in New York. You gotta have a few of them shits. You know what I'm saying? I might be out there rapping with Turk. You know what I'm saying? I might be in front of motherfucking Fulton Street rapping for quarters. It's showtime. Indiana in the building. Doing the Scorpion King 10-year anniversary with the hat, you know what I'm saying, on 42nd Street and whatnot, playing that shit on the Bluetooth. You know what I mean? I might have to do that. I might have to find Dean the Great and start my Kick channel, nigga. I might have to start Streamer University. You know what I mean? Run up a bag or two. I need to find my version of Adrian Broner and we start twinning and you know what I mean, dressing alike. I asked Blue if he wanted. I was Blue. You want to do that shit that Adrian Broner doing? He looked at me like I had three heads. Okay, oh, all right. I'll find another twin. Fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I'll pull this one off. You know, I'll be Adrian Broner. Pause. Charleston in the building. Flint in the building. Indiana in the building. North Las Vegas is in the building. Belize is in the building. Arizona's in the building. Oakland in the building. Detroit in the building. Tampa in the building. New York City, Harlem, not the same. Out here without chewing blue. Y'all remember what I said? I said if I go back to New York, the energy needs to fix itself. Cause I you know what I mean? I said this like a year. I said about a year or two ago. I'm like, it would be egregious if y'all want us to come out there and carry this thing on our, because we was like, we could fix it, but it's gonna take so much to fix it. It's like, damn, we got to come back and carry the city. But now the temperature has risen and it feels like the city is fixing itself. So yeah, it's not that much work to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a vibe type of person. I see the vibes is up, so I could slide in when the vibes is up. I couldn't do nothing when the vibes was down. You know what I'm saying? I cannot do anything for your city when the vibes is down. I only pop up when it's up. Texas in the building, San Jose and then we pump it up a little more. We have Orange, New Jersey. What part of Orange, Jersey Dread? I put a post up. I put a post up. Real talk about Jersey. Somebody had put a post up, and I reposted, and they was like, "Yo, if every borough in Brooklyn had a one-on-one, with Jersey, then New York would lose, cause Jersey got real hoods, and we don't got no hoods in New York no more. We got neighborhoods, DMV, but y'all got hoods, my nigga. Trenton." They got hood. I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows about how New Jersey is, but y'all go to New Jersey, you better be on you better be on point. Virgin Islands. We got Space Coast, Florida. All right. New Bedford, Massachusetts, Los Angeles. Again, I like that. I like the wrist cell phone holder. That shit is kind of fire. Camden, Best Eye is off the chain. My old house sold for 3.3. Hell yeah, Best Eye is lit. You see them block parties? Oh my goodness. That's my people's just throwing that too. Super lit. H-Town in the building, Delaware in the building, Tulsa, Oklahoma in the building, Hawaii in the building, Inno in the building, Hinesville in the building. But all jokes aside, we're supposed to be doing this documentary, and I'm gonna have to talk to the team, because if we're gonna pull this documentary off and make this shit really tight, I will be in New York for that. I will probably book, I'll probably be out there for about a month, and we just gonna have to work hard body, you know what I mean? And because I need to get everybody in front of the camera. And the good thing about it is that they'll, you know what I mean? It's like the New Yorkers gonna be like, they'll be hype when we do the documentary. The spirit is up, versus if we did it like 2 years ago, they were still recovering, because New York went through some shit. They were still recovering. But guess what? Right hand on Quran, Mom Donnie, nigga. Right hand on Quran, Mom Donnie. I think Mom Donnie did something for the city, man. I know y'all niggas is saying that that's Jeffrey's son and all of that. You know what I mean? But I think Mom Donnie done did something. I think Mom Donnie done changed the fucking frequency. Did you see the speech he gave? Dorothy Land. Dorothy, that's Kansas, right? We got Cleveland in the building. That's who's claiming AB? Is that where he from? Cleveland? Where's AB from? Where's Adrian Broner from? Who's claiming this nigga? Rotterdam, Holland. Oh, we got Bogota. Bogota. Shout out to Bogota. You dig? South Los Angeles. Yo, South Los Angeles. I got something I'm gonna show you in a minute. There's a clip that I grabbed where this woman was talking about how everybody in Los Angeles looks indigenous and exotic, and it echoes the sentiments that I had shared. I was like, yo, Los Angeles is the home of the Indians. I had said that years ago. And now people are beginning to see that, because they seen a documentary that just came out, and they putting 1 and 2 together. Those are some different looking Negroes over there in the West Coast than what they got in other places. And I know that they migrated and whatnot from other places, but the natives, those is the Indians that they be talking about, that they took the land from. Facts. I'm gonna show you in a minute. Naptown in the building, Long Beach in the building, Jersey in the building, New York, Jersey in the building. So Richie, you said that he did something to the city? You said that he did something to the city. The Empire Strikes Back. I'm conflicted about this Jay-Z shit. You know what I'm saying? This Jay-Z shit is rubbing me the wrong way, man. I don't even know if I could go to the Yankee Stadium and enjoy Reasonable Doubt or Blueprint. He done fucked the whole energy up for me, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm fighting myself over that one. You know? All the Cali dudes got that wet and wavy hair. Facts. You facts. I think that the Jerry curls, you know what I'm saying? The CIA saw niggas with that original silky Hawaiian and they came in with the Jerry curls because my stepmother used to have Jerry curls and whatnot. And then one day I was like, fuck it, let's just try it. Remember the yellow bottle with the red letters? I was like, shit, let's just try it. I think I want the drip. Oh boy, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, that was a hot mess and whatnot. Oh Lord, the fucking Jerry curl. I don't think that the grease. I promise you, it was like I could fry 30 pounds of chicken with that grease for like 3 months after that. The grease never left my hair. Yeah, carefree curls. I was like, you know what I'm saying? You know, I probably watched like Colors or something, or you know what I'm saying? We want to watch the Easy E video. I just got inspired by the drip. I wanted the motherfucking Jerry curl. You know what I'm talking about? I was going against all odds because my stepmama had the drip. You know what I mean? And I should have looked at her pillows before I went and did that. I would have, you know what I mean? They were secretly washing pillows, and we, you know, because we did laundry and everything, but she was stashing the pillowcases, and we didn't know that. Yeah, the Soul Glow. Yeah, man, that was the wrong move. But I think when the CIA saw them brothers in LA with that original that original wavy shit, they was like, yeah, let's put some chemicals in a bottle and turn that shit into the Jerry curl. Because they wasn't the same after that. When you really think about it, they did not bounce back after the Jerry curl. Like, right, let's sit back and really think about it. You know what I'm talking about? They did not bounce back after the Jerry curl. Shit been going sideways ever since. You know, they had that good original hair. So when I went to LA, I was just doing, I didn't even go out there to look at niggas' hair and whatnot. But after a while, I'm looking around and I'm like, fam, either these niggas is getting, either there's some Dominican hair salons in the cut that I don't know about. Either these niggas is getting a press, a wet, you know what I mean? Like they getting a wash and a set, or these are some original indigenous niggas. You know what I'm saying? I saw the cowboy dude. Remember Cowboy I went out there for the Nipsey thing, right? I first peeped it there because we went to the State Farm Arena for Nipsey's coronation. Everybody that had blue on, they had like indigenous features. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, they was looking indigenous, and then when you look at, even though homie's from Eritrea, even though Nipsey's from Eritrea, he looks like you could put feathers in his hair and throw his ass on a horse. He's a goddamn indigenous, bro. You know, he fit the mold. And then I was like, and then I saw the cowboy dude, and I was like, I looked at the cowboy dude. I was like, this ain't an original nigga right here. This is not giving me, there's something going on. And as I began to look around, and once I got that in my mind, I started to just see things. So I was like, wow, these dudes are really not from the stock of what they would call they're not the West African stock, right? And then when I started looking at the bloods were looking more of an African stock. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying nothing, but I'm just saying, when you really think about it, when I was looking at the bloods, because, you know, shit color coordinated. So it was almost like, you know, everything's color coordinated. So it was easy for me to see the difference, right? Yeah, Mississippi. Remember, the Mississippians, they went to Chicago, and the Mississippians, what we call the Mississippi Mound Builders, Mississippi Mound Builders, they went west, right? But they also went to Chicago, right? So boom, I'm like, what's going on here? You feel me? Then I came to the conclusion that there's a tribal war taking place. And I was like, this shit might go back centuries, man. This might go back centuries, way further than what they're calling it the gang and everything. But when you do the history on the history of the gangs and how these things came about and whatnot, like I was watching the documentary on King Barksdale. No. What's the dude out of Chicago? King something out of the BDs, GDs, and all of that. Yeah, those are Queen Khalifa's people. And remember, Queen Khalifa's people were known to be fierce warriors. King David on King David. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing the knowledge of them. I was doing the knowledge on them. That was interesting. You know, that was interesting. But the majority of them came up out of Mississippi and all of that. You know, they was out the deep south. You know, but yeah, tribes was banging on each other in the south when the Caucasoid or when the amalgamated Moors or when the brutish Moors or whoever the fuck showed up. I'm still up in you know, it's still up in the air. I'm waiting for Top Cat to solve the case. But whatever the case was, let me see. Let me pull the video up because the lady was dropping. Let me show you. She was saying some things. We got to get to the bottom of this.
From Compton, Long Beach, Watts, anywhere in California that's predominantly black, I want to ask y'all a question. I was asked to watch the Games documentary about Compton, and what I've noticed about him and Cube and Snoop and Easy and just so many others, even just the general people who are on the screen, y'all have a certain look to y'all that I've not seen anywhere else in America. Whether you lighter skin or tan, y'all have a tan. Even if you're dark skinned, that's a tan I've not seen anywhere else. And I know it's not the sun. It's not just the sun. And y'all's eyes are either medium brown, light green, or you just look exotic. What are the black people in California? Like, where do they come from? I don't want a textbook definition. I don't want, like, they look exotic. I don't see that. I'm from Arkansas, and I don't see that. They all have an exotic look to them, male and female. I can't figure it out. So, and I know I'm not the only one that noticed it because I reached out to a creator friend of mine who stays in Georgia, and she said she noticed it too. Black people in California.
You see, so it's not just me. And I raised this question on this show like 2 years ago on God. I came back from LA. I did something with AA Rashid and whatnot. And that was one of my questions that I had. And there was other things that I spoke about, and I'm not gonna talk about that on this show and whatnot. It had to do with the gang warfare and how that's fucking up y'all whole lives in LA, and how y'all got to get past that in order to get to a bag, because it's not good for business. And the Mexicans are running over y'all. They're doing great business even with their gang culture, but they seem to got their shit together, and y'all don't. You know, Skid Row is filled up with gang members, you know, living in tents and whatnot, looking crazy. But when I went on a wholesale district, I couldn't find one black. I didn't see no gang bangers. You know what I mean? Nobody flipping legal money. And then I was like, in a place like LA, I see the politics, but I also see the money politics. It would be impossible to really get to some real paper if there's a gang war going on, because they're going to use that as an excuse to block you niggas out from the billions of dollars that are out there, the millions of dollars that you could be touching legal money. You know what I'm saying? And y'all are suffocating the artists, the true artists and whatnot. y'all are sabotaging the artists. Astaghfirullah, that gang shit. Y'all need to put that in your. You need to do something different because ain't no money in that. I could see where the poverty is coming from. Y'all are gang banging y'all niggas. Y'all gang banging yourself on Skid Row. You're gang banging yourself into Skid Row because boom, you get a gang injunction, right? Your granny and whatnot. She got the banging ass house because it's a lot of houses out there. It's a lot of real estate out there, but you get hit with the gang injunction or you get hit with a charge, you go into Pelican Bay or something, your ass come home and you homeless. Shit they gotta change that. Ain't no, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and then the economy is either selling drugs, pimping black women or pimping pink toes, robbing niggas, you know what I mean, burglaries, B&Es and everything. Ah man, y'all gotta do something better than that. It's something else gotta, come on, fam. Shit real backwards. Shit real backwards. You know, it's a lose-lose in my eyes. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lose-lose. How many messiahs are y'all out there destroying? How many lives are being destroyed every day? You see when you hear I be peeping podcasts. They low key be crying and shit. Them gangbangers. You know what I mean? The trauma on them is so heavy. You know, the trauma on the trauma on their souls. You could just see it's so heavy on them. It look crazy, and they crying. They want to get out of it, but they don't know how to get out of it. You know. They want to get out of this life, but they don't want to. You said bang on pink toes? No, pimping pink toes. They pimping the pink toes. They are pimping them. They're not banging on them. They pimping on them. You know, they got the white girls on the blade. You know, that's a Rico. So, and you might wind up, you know what I mean? And you might be a sauce walker at the end of the day. You out there putting babies in your prostitutes. They putting babies in the pink toes. You know what I'm talking about? That's a lose-lose. Then you're gonna make the song, just a little baby mama drummer. Just a little baby mama drummer. Chick still mad, I don't want her. Away. I don't even want to go on Figaro. That shit's sad to see. Shit sad to see, man. Very sad, you know what I'm saying? Very, very sad. You know, there's some sick puppies out there in this world. You know what I'm saying? Some sick puppies out there. You got to protect the women at all costs, man. We got to come up with, there's so many income streams that are available, right? And I ain't going to go ahead and just throw no cape on and whatnot, but there's so many income streams and there's so many ways to eat. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They got to figure, look, some things are non-sustainable. And the culture as a whole, the shit that was born in the 90s when gangster rap was funded by the CIA and the small hats after they funded crack cocaine, after they funded heroin, you know what I mean? They just kept flipping their money, you know what I mean? It's like an IPO, you know? You know? When they start putting money behind NWA and then Hollywood, look at Hollywood. Look, that's in LA, right? Look at what Hollywood is all about. Check it out.
Hollywood is predicated upon anti-blackness, right? Mm-hmm. You had Jewish immigrants that came from Germany and places of Europe. Just coincidentally, they so happen to be Jewish. They come to America to flee their poor treatment in Germany, right? When they come to America, they go to New York, get into filmmaking, right? But they leave New York because Thomas Edison had a lot of influence and power when it came to the film industry. He didn't want them making movies. So then they go to the West Coast of California and they create these major Hollywood studios, Paramount, Fox Studios, MGM, Warner Brothers. And how did they create their very first films? By perpetuating black stereotypes, negative imagery of black people, animalistic, cannibalistic, hypersexual. They eat watermelon. They have no intelligence. That is why we have a lot of films today that make black people look horrible. You have to always study the history of a thing to understand what it is today.
All of these men who founded Hollywood were born within a 500-mile radius of one another.
At the turn of the century, movies reflected the vision of America shared by Thomas Edison and the other men who invented the film industry. The films presented negative images of hook-nosed Jews, blacks, and others. They championed an idea of America where the white upper classes ruled and immigrants knew their place. The highest artistic achievement of pre-Jewish American cinema was the box office hit Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith, the explicitly racist story.
Remember, empire of their own. Empire of their own. That, ladies and gentlemen, is both book and documentary. A.A. Rashid put it in my hands many moons ago, and I it's like 500, 600 pages. It's a great read. It blew my toupee off. I was like, oh shit, I did not know how deep this thing went. But you see these names up here? This is when the small hat became a big hat. They used Hollywood, moving pictures. They graduated from the Nickelodeon and whatnot. They got chased out of New York by Thomas Edison and his shooters and whatnot. He literally had goons like that. Thomas Edison was out there putting belt to ass, and he chased these small hats up out of the East Coast, and they went into an orange grove. What they call Hollywood used to be an orange grove, right? And they literally began to build up this empire of studios and whatnot. And they ran that shit like they ran these studios and whatnot with pure power, you know what I'm saying? With unadulterated power. And it got them good with the Russians because they had the Russian small hats and shit. And the Russian small hats were like elite. They were like oligarchy and whatnot. And they were accepted into what they call highbrow society. Highbrow society. Now, highbrow society, right? So look at the German. Trump is a German, right? Trump comes from a German family. And these are Polacks and things of that nature. So the German, right, or the German or the Russian small hat and the German small hat was like at the top of that food chain. And they had integrated into highbrow society. Highbrow society is the WASP or blue blood, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Those are the highest forms. Those are the people who have accumulated all of that wealth and shit like that up in the Americas. So their form of being accepted into highbrow society is when they let one of them marry their daughter. Okay, that's how you blend. That's how you blend your. That's the door in, and that's how it used to be with us. You feel me? That's how it used to be with our societies. If you go into Africa and whatnot, how they do the dowry and they let certain people in by letting you marry the daughter. That should go all the way back into the kingdoms. That's all about bloodlines. You feel me? That's all about bloodlines. So if the blue bloods were willing to let the small hats mix their bloodline with theirs, then they really have pulled. That's when you get pulled all the way in. So when you fast forward, you see all of these small hats, their wives and whatnot were of blue blood stock. And this is how they begin to mix the stock. Henceforth, that's why you see the children look more what they would call Caucasian later on down the line. They didn't always look like that. These people look very weird. You know, aesthetically, they were not considered to be fine in the eyes of, you know, pink toes, and other white women did not deem them as desirable. So they made their paper desirable. These are where tricks come from. This is the origin of tricknology. These are the tricks. That's why they call them hunkies, right? Because they will hunk their horns to pick up women, to solicit flesh. You know what I mean? They were and henceforth, they were the ones in every country that got removed because of pornography and other forms of fornication and whatnot. Sometimes people take to darker and more weirder forms of their proclivities when they're not desirable, versus when somebody just got that it factor and they just magnetic, and wherever they go, the women follow and whatnot. You don't tend to find too many of those people dwelling or delving into weird type of practices or proclivities and whatnot. It's just straight up. It is what it is. It's like you choosing, you know what I mean? We cruising. But this is the empire of their own. This is what everybody should be studying. They got the documentary on YouTube, but it's really just scratching the surface. The book is always better. Go read the book when you have some time. I think they got an audio book at this point. But wet your palate with the documentary. You can wet your feet with the documentary, and then you could get into the book. But it's gonna break down the history of Tinseltown.
Glorified the Ku Klux Klan and played on white America's fear.
But they used us as the leverage. I'm sorry to keep interrupting. We were the leverage. We were the proverbial stepping stone, as all immigrants have come in and used our people as the stepping stone. But the blacks were the stepping stones for the small hats to basically stun on us to get favor from the blue bloods. And the way that the blue bloods and the way that the wasps were moving and whatnot, everybody who came in, they would dangle carrots and whatnot. And if you wanted to be white, because remember, white is a status, none of them were whites. Hello. None of them were white. They were natural. They were made white. You know what I mean? They created that. None of them were white at first. You had to prove your whiteness. And by proving your whiteness, you had to step on the blacks.
Of racial intermixing. In 1912, to escape Edison and the goons he sent to enforce his control of the industry, the future moguls headed west to the orange groves of California.
In 1915, Carl Laemmle had decided to open a very large plant in the valley north of Hollywood, which they called Universal City, a gigantic facility that includes all necessities for designing films, building sets.
This is where the simulacra was created. This is where the simulation was created. This is where false reality was created. This is where the false world was created. This is where Main Street was created. This is where the illusion was created, ladies and gentlemen, on these elaborate studios and movie sets. They projected an America that never existed. They sold the world an America that never existed. And after they sold it, that America that existed, that's when that America began to form. But when it was on a movie screen at first, this picket fence America, this quote unquote Pleasantville America never existed. Never existed. They created that shit. And then afterwards, they built it out. Facts.
Photographing them, editing them, costuming them. It was, the first movie-making city in the world.
Kabbalistic magic. Kabbalistic magic, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't no regular movie shit. Kabbalistic magic. Yes, the Truman Show. Right? The American dream was created in these studios. And then Walt Disney created the American dream over there in Disney in Epcot Center and all of that shit. This is not real. That's why people are like, yo, we feel like we're in a fucking simulation, because you are. It's not real. None of it. That's what David Icke was talking about when he was on 363 Empire and whatnot. They've created a humongous simulacra. They've created a simulation. That's why I went into the jungle. That's why I unplugged and I went into the jungle to see the real world. You feel me? And I'm still searching for it. There's still more of the real world to find and whatnot. But the living world is not the same as this world that they created with these big cities and whatnot and these fake ass environments and shit like that. Not real. That's why you don't feel it. It's not real.
The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. It was Mayer's brilliant idea to create the Oscars. The Hollywood Jews may have wanted to marry into white America, but when it came to music, Jewish composers looked to black America.
This African American culture was of tremendous interest. I mean, the music, the dancing, the popular styles.
Jews served as messengers, in essence, of black culture. They took it, they consumed it, they integrated it into their own cultural repertoire, and then introduced it to white America.
They are the liaisons. The same way that they liaisoned hip hop. Let's really look at what we're talking about. They are the middlemen. They studied the messiahs. They studied the chosen ones. They studied the people that they copied. Remember this. They are the intermediums. They're always interpreting. That's why they're all around. Every celebrity that you saw at these parades, they all got handlers. They all are surrounded by these same people. You know, New York is the bastion of them. So even if they put one of us in the front and whatnot, who's behind the camera? 9 times out of 10 is them. They are the intermediaries of us. They know us. They know what makes us tick. They know what makes us quote unquote excited. They know what turns us up. They know what turns us down. They was there to give us the drugs. They was there to give us the guns. They was there to give us everything. They giving niggas clothes. They giving niggas Mosinite jewelry. You know, Trax New York and the Diamond District. They're in the middle of everything. They are the proverbial middleman. Okay? And we are considered to be their experiment. We are there. We are. That's how they came up so heavy on us. On us. That's why there's like 2% of them in their running shit, because they have assumed the position and they have assumed the identity and they have assumed our roles. Facts. And then the work that they did on us through Hollywood, they got rewarded for that. Doors opened up. They got rewarded for that. Billions and billions and billions of dollars poured into Hollywood and whatnot. And then the corporations took over and was like, yeah, let me get that. Yeah, let me get that. Let's keep cooking these niggas. But from the jazz singer, when they went into blackface, Al Johnson and whatnot, when he was imitating us, they were in blackface. They was in blackface at the parade singing New York, concrete jungle that we would made. Yeah, that's what they do. They've mastered blackfacing us in New York. That's what they do. Respectfully. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they do.
That was essentially willing to listen to Jews, partake of what Jews had to offer in a way that they never would from blacks.
In a sense, they wrote music in blackface. They even hid their Jewishness from their children and grandchildren.
Yeah, the children didn't even know about their origins and whatnot. They were cosplaying Americans around their first and second generation children. They were cosplaying Americans or blue bloods. They were not pushing their narrative. They wasn't pushing P. No siree. They were not pushing their P. You know, they were hiding behind something else. So it's always good to know these things. Let us continue, please. Let's go down. We going down this little rabbit hole today, boy. Woo-wee. Let's get into this real quick. Well, let's hear what Chocolate Godiva got to say. Let's bring the chocolate goddess on board.
Like I want to pinch myself because I'm like, is this really over? The war with Iran and Lebanon, like, is it really over? Because I know it's going to lead to a free Palestine, right? And I know for a fact it's going to lead to regime change here in America. I know it's going to take a long time for America, but seeing it being over and done with in Iran and it leading to freedom of Lebanon, especially South Lebanon and Gaza, that is chef's kiss. But just imagine, if nothing else has inspired you, I hope that this inspires you. Just imagine having to use AI, building a machine, might I add, having no other choice but to build a machine to help you try and fight, bully, and ethnically cleanse not 1 but 3 areas of land and still losing. No, girl, Iran, you're T. You're so T. I need you to know that. I need you to know you're so T, girl. Yemen, Hezbollah, I need y'all to know that you're T, Buki. I need the entire resistance to understand how T you are. You know what I mean? They had to build not one, but an entire arsenal of robots. Iron Dome, Google, Microsoft, supposedly some of the world's best technological experts all came together and was like, we gotta take that bitch out by any means necessary, okay? Because the shit that they're throwing down, I can't take the hits that they're sending my way. Let's build some machines to help us. They built a machine, and a DOJ, Department of Justice, reported that Elon Musk grok that was used by the US military alongside several other AIs to strike Iranian targets at least 2,000 times, and they still lost and still had to pay for the rebuilding of Iran. Yikes. No, seriously, yikes. They're singing a different tune now. Yes. You know it's not really real until we get the reactions of the West as to how they feel about the situation. And sure enough, I pop up on CNN early this morning. It's the first thing I looked at when I opened my eyes, because I'm like, there's no possible way. I went to sleep and they were signing it. They were signing the MOU. And this morning, I want to know how CNN, Fox News, how are they reporting this? How are they trying to spin this narrative? They didn't. They didn't. They had no other. This is how bad the loss is. They have no other choice but to just be honest about it. Read the headlines. Trump signs agreement. Iran is calling a record of America's failure, which is hilarious all on its own. But still, girl. Oh my God. This is so fucking tea. Senator Chris Murphy was doing an interview with this CNN reporter, in which he basically stated, like, he said exactly what I literally have been saying this entire time. The 14 terms of the agreement all benefit Iran. The United States, in return, does not get nuked. Israel does not get nuked. Unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles when you lose, babe. When you start a fight that you know you can't win. Yeah, you don't get anything. You don't get a participation trophy. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Don't start shit. Don't start now, it won't be none. So seeing all of these senators, especially the people that supported what was happening in Iran, Lebanon, and Palestine, having no other choice but to not only apologize, but to like bite the bullet and like acknowledge that, fuck, we all invested in this and there's no return on the investment. We also have to explain to the whole world like why we thought that this shit was okay, because it was very clearly not okay. But as long as we won and our money that we invested into it won, we had the ability to control the narrative and to propagandize everything that went down for the foreseeable future. But now that we have to acknowledge that this shit was a dummy mission, what are we gonna do? And the acknowledgement is coming from both sides. Imagine my surprise when I went to one of my sources this morning and read about how the former Amin-Chief of the IDF stated, I wish we hadn't started the war with Iran. You fucking think? You think? You know what I mean? Now they're outside shaking ass on top of cars. I'm not telling y'all no lies. You got no lies? Shaking ass on top of cars. Ass on top, outside throwing ass. Having a time, baby. A time is being had. Celebrating. If I could say one. Shaking ass on top of cars. Ass on top of cars. Shaking ass on top of cars. Outside. And it's summertime. Oh my God. Like, what a time to fucking be alive. What a time to be an Iranian that lives in Iran right now. To be a Lebanese that lives in Lebanon right now. To be a Palestinian, a lot of being able to watch it right now. What a fucking time to be alive. They outside shaking ass on top of cars while you're regretting your choices. They whooped your ass so bad that you had to reconsider some things. You had to think some things through because quite literally, you have lost your marbles, your medulla oblongata. Now you gotta hit the whiteboard again. When Gaddafi was telling y'all the whole time, maybe we should go back to the whiteboard. Because this don't feel like this is, this don't feel right. Maybe y'all should hit the whiteboard again. Now you ain't got no other choice but to hit the whiteboard again. Now you have to go back to that whiteboard and figured this shit out. Yikes. He was the former head of Israeli Military Intelligence Agency, or Amman for short. In his latest interview with a bitter admission, revealed the consequences of the recent war against Iran. And look at that. You started some shit and knew that you couldn't win that fight. We all knew you couldn't win it before you even went in it. Y'all talked about it for 6 months straight before you decided to fuck with Iran. And we said, God damn it! Fuck! Because we already knew how this was going to end, but you decided to play in our face anyhow. Fuck. Now, not only are you learning a very valuable lesson the hard way, you got to pick your teeth up off the floor. You and all your homegirls. Y'all got to pick your jaw up and pick your teeth the fuck up off that floor. Because the ass whooping they gave y'all, the way that Hezbollah is quite literally still bending y'all shit the fuck up out the frame is outstanding. It's insane. It's egregious if you ask me. And it's so bad too. Israel tried to do a last minute attempt at regaining composure and control over a quote unquote buffer zone inside of South Lebanon. And unfortunately, Hezbollah was already at the door waiting on their ass. They tried to do it on 5 separate fronts at the same exact time. And Hezbollah was already there waiting. And they whooped their ass. Something serious. They just told us how it went down. And they told us all the equipment they used to fuck them up. And they said that they did it in under 12 hours. And they completely eliminated any threat, forcing the Israeli soldiers to retreat, run away screaming like a bunch of little girls. And I was like, no, that's crazy. Damn. That's insane. I expect nothing less, but also, when are y'all going to learn this lesson? Referring to the agreements that were made, he warned that this is going to be... This is gonna be bad for Israel. It is. Yeah, that's usually how it happens. Yeah. And on the next video, we're gonna talk about how Iran basically showed us and told us like how they were able to achieve such a crazy victory, that they were confident they were going to be victorious from the jump. But they also showed us exactly which targets they hit on the bases, how they went about it, the Iranian fighter jets that were used, the F-5 fighter pilots. Remember, America said that their entire aerial support was destroyed and decimated. That exact same day, they brought the fighter jets outside to come out and play, yay. I was like, now see? You see what happens when you go lying and telling stories? They gonna show up and they gonna show out. That's like asking a bitch, letting her know like it's on site and then showing up and being shocked that she socked you right in your shit, bust you right in your shit. You said it was on site though. So like, why are you confused? We're going to talk about that in the next video, y'all, because it's crazy. The way the top Iranian negotiator, the foreign negotiator, is quite literally he's on one right now, okay? I'm loving it because he talking cash money shit. He running it down for everybody like, yeah, them motherfuckers thought they was going to play with me. I ain't the one to fucking play with. I came to the table, I brought that heat and let them niggas know this ain't nothing. Bitch, we can take it there or we can figure it out here. It's however you want to go about it. We could do it the easy way or the hard way, but it feels like you want to take it there. It feels like you want to make it the hard way. So let me show you what it is, including one of the foreign policy and negotiators. The Iranian foreign policy negotiators leaving in the middle of a meeting that they had to negotiate ceasefire terms, in which during that time, some targets had been hit and they got up and walked away and basically texted Trump to his face like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Watch. That's all right. Watch this. And they said, don't you do it. Or basically talking about the U.S. air bases. And they said, don't you do it. The Trump administration was like, you better not. And they said, watch me, bitch. And then banged on them and blocked their number and still blew up their air bases in Bahrain and Kuwait. So that's going to be on the next video because it's a lot of tea, Grilla. I can't believe that this was all going down behind the scenes. Like, this shit is so tea. Anyways, make sure you're also sending up your duas for the Palestinians, because again, we know how Israel is going to try and take it out on Palestine, and we know how they're going to try and take it out on the West Bank, in addition to several areas in Lebanon. I believe there are small small villages in Lebanon that they're already attempting to take it out on. But Donald Trump let it be known, like, don't do it, bitch. You got to get the fuck up out of Lebanon. I mean, ASAP. So I'm just holding on to hope for that. But make sure y'all keeping y'all doers for them. And also, we are getting so close to our goal. We're about 1,550 away from our goal. And that means that if 1,500 people all send in $10, we would be at our goal. Yes! Yes, ma'am. Yes, God. Stay tuned because there's a lot more to go.
Fucking list of all the times Lil Donnie declared victory in Iran. On March 7th, Trump declared, "We already won." March 9th, he claimed the war is complete. March 11th, at a rally in Kentucky, he says, "We won in the first hour." March 15th, he claimed Iran was finally defeated. March 20th, "We won. They're finished." March 23rd, he claimed Iran agreed to a deal. March 24th, he then said the war has been officially won, whatever that means. March 25th, he wavered and said Iran now wanted to make a deal, as opposed to having already made one. March 26th, with no deal in sight, he claimed that Iran was begging him to make a deal, and it was his choice not to make one. March 29th, he backtracked again, saying he sees a possible deal in Iran. March 30th, he says that he's now talking to new people in Iran who want to make a deal. April 1st, now he says that Iran asked him for a ceasefire. April 6th, he claims they're on the verge of a deal. April 7th, he says they have total and complete victory over Iran. April 8th, he announces a peace deal. It doesn't exist. April 15th, we're back to being close to a deal. April 17th, there's going to be a deal in the next day or two. April 20th, he claims the deal will be better than Obama's. Spoiler, it isn't. April 21st, he extends the ceasefire, claiming the deal is coming any day now, and it'll be great. April 30th, he once again claims Iran is begging to make a deal. May 1st, he says the war, the one he claimed was already won 2 months ago, was almost over. May 18th, he says a deal is close. May 19th, the war will end quickly. May 24th, the deal has been negotiated. May 27th, the deal is close. May 29th, the deal is made. June 8th, Donnie declared total victory and that Iran has given us everything, whatever that means. June 11th, the war will be settled in the next 2 days. June 15th, the deal is complete, and yet it isn't. All we have.
Can anybody find the Negroes inside of this community that was on the Trump bandwagon, damn near wearing that red hat? Like, what are they talking about these days? Have y'all found any of them? Because they've been very quiet on my timeline. Where they at? Where the Negroes that was out there? Where's blacks? Where's niggas for Trump? Where's the... Where, maybe at the job, the water cooler, are they pulling up? Are they outside? I mean, I didn't even see them. I was looking at the Streamer University tryout. I've been looking for them, like for real. I've looked at the parade footage. I was slowing it down and whatnot. Have you seen them? Because I haven't. Those red hats ain't been coming out lately. They outside with them blue and orange and shit, but where's the red hats at? Where are they at? I'm wondering. If y'all do see them, let them know that I'm looking for them. Come on, Donnie. Continue. Let's continue. Let's get you up out of here. Where's the volume, my genius? Oh, no. Now he mad. The video, he mad, so he don't want to play this video. Don't be a sore loser, boy. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Revolting against Donald Trump's Iran deal today, calling it Trump's Versailles surrender. I don't think we've seen this type of break before against the president of the United States, and he is lashing out against any defectors. And it's from normie Republicans like Mike Pence and Nikki Haley to Bill Cassidy to other senators, members of the House. I mean, it is just a full-on internal eruption. And Republicans believe that Donald Trump gave up everything to Iran. Ballistic missiles, gave it up. Enrichment, essentially gave it up. Billions of dollars for reconstruction, gave it up. And now the headline today is it is Trump's Versailles surrender, considering he signed the Memorandum of Understanding in Versailles in France. And we've truly never seen this type of internal conflict among Republicans over something the president has done ever. And yet here we are. So we'll see what happens next. As always, spread the word. Follow along to stay updated on all the news you need to know about. I'll have more updates for you soon.
I just gotta put it on the record that the USA lost. All of my GI Joes out there, you know what I mean? Go put those fatigues in the motherfucking cleaners. Get that shit starched, my nigga, because your boss, Uncle Sam, took a fucking loss. Another one and another one. Didn't y'all just lose the last one in Afghanistan? God damn, y'all might as well call you Todd Smith. Y'all taking all them L's and whatnot. But listen, G.I. Joe and G.I. Joseph, yeah, y'all need to figure this shit out, man. We don't believe you. You need more people. Y'all a bunch of baby killers, you know. Y'all supported that shit, you know what I'm saying, just to get a Dodge Challenger and whatnot. And yeah. How did that work out? You know, we're not gonna, you know what I mean? Y'all gotta get right in front of the good Lord, my niggas. Get right in front of the good Lord, because that shit that y'all was using as an excuse ain't working. You know they're gonna talk shit to you when you take a motherfucking loss. Now you can't run up on Brunson and them Brunson and these niggas and talk crazy, because you see what a victory looks like, right? So if Donald Trump and them niggas ain't coming down DC looking like what New York is looking like this afternoon, then you took a loss. That's what a loss looked like. He's on his knees right now, kissing on motherfucking Persians and shit. Yeah. Whole that L, the whole shit falling apart. Yeah, Cash Patel. What was going on with Cash?
Story of Kash Patel's illegal slush fund to pay FBI agents to commit crimes. Sometime earlier this year, Kash Patel created a series of accounts where he sheltered millions in taxpayer dollars. Along with these accounts, he created the Directors Advisory Team, a group of hand-picked agents who are personally curated to be the most pro-MAGA and who are morally open to just breaking the fucking law. These agents also receive bonuses to carry out unlawful orders, and seemingly just because they're buddies with Cash. And the amounts are staggering. Multiple agents received multiple $4,000 payments, reaching a total of over $1 million. The payments have been accelerating. Cash has been writing checks so fast that he's emptied his slush fund many times. These agents had already hit their maximum salary by law, and Cash signed off on them receiving at least $40,000 each. There's not a lot more to say. It's just one more day of this rotting zombie pig of an administration siphoning off your money for immoral, illegal bullshit in any way it can.
Oh, it gets more interesting. Like I said, Babylon is falling right before your very own eyes. When in Rome, my ninjas, you know what I'm talking about? It's giving what it's supposed to give inside of the fire horse year, Aries and Neptunes. Now the motherfucking reptile is outside, aka Mr. Antichrist, aka Peter Thiel and them. I told you, niggas. I was telling you about that boy. Now we beginning to see how dangerous he really is. I told you, niggas.
All of these people are in a secret society organized by Peter Thiel. They tried to keep it a secret, but the membership list just leaked. And look who's in here. Cory Booker, Jared Kushner, Ted Cruz, Elon Musk, Leonard Leo, the guy behind the right-wing takeover of the courts, and many more. Hackers obtained the membership list because it was embedded in the site of Peter Thiel's club, Dialogue. We're talking 200 plus of the world's most influential people, and they have secret invite-only retreats where they talk about money buying happiness, surviving World War III, and how's your sex life? Is that really something anybody wants to talk about with Ted Cruz? But this guy right here, Representative Jim Himes, is the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, which oversees agencies Palantir contracts with. He's also in Peter Thiel's private club, along with Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir and whose software runs case management for ICE. Right now, one of the federal government's spying programs is up for renewal, and Jim Himes is key in that discussion. He has found himself at odds with other Democrats over renewing this program, and at one point even tried to get Democrats to vote for a version of this program that didn't even include warrants for Americans. So when you see bad Democrats get in the way of progress, this type of thing makes it more clear. When they say it's a big club and you aren't in it, it's things like this that they're referring to.
Oh, this is a rabbit hole that we must continue to explore. Trust me, it gets darker and deeper. This shit right here. Now, people are like, oh, he went to Argentina No, nigga, he's on a fucking run. You understand me? His ass is on a run. This is literally Cobra Commander. We're looking at Cobra Commander, Destro, and the Baroness and all of this. My G, this is my bro. In real life, I think he's Destro.
The sex cult has just been exposed along with this World War III bunker discussion society. And who was the leader of it? None other than Peter Thiel and his secret society. But there were many members, and I'm going to expose them all. My name is Hunter Howell. I love my life. I'm in a good state of heart and health because people don't like to be named. So it'd be a real shame if you made this video viral so we can know who was participating. So here's the first part of the list. Make sure to save this video, repost, share with 10 plus people so they can have this list before it gets taken down from the internet. Like, comment. You got Scott Bessent, the United States Secretary of Treasury. He's involved in this. You got Cory Booker on the Democrat side. New Jersey Senator. But don't worry, you got freaking Ted Cruz, Republican senator from Texas. Remember, everyone, red, blue, they don't give a damn about me or you. Those are just some of the names here. Now, here's a new list of names. Remember to repost. Remember to share. You got people like Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, in this. You got Elon Musk.
So Cory Booker and Wes Moore, who they were saying is projected to be basically the next Obama. They were propping him up. Remember, Peter Thiel is a flamer. Okay, Peter Thiel is he's part of the alphabet community and whatnot, and not just the regular alphabet communities, like the ones that are like these are like the real Roman. He's into like the real Roman type shit, like Dungeons and Dragons type shit. But yeah, this is a secret society, and these are some of the people that are out here. You know what I mean? You know, conspiracy. You in a gang, you get locked up, you get a gang injunction. You know what I mean? Secret societies. I'm sure that they could easily find some type of conflicts of interest, some crimes that are being committed. Why so secretive? Reminds me of Jeffrey and them niggas.
That's not a surprise. You got Jared Kushner, right? Trump's son-in-law. Once again, that's probably the least surprising name on this list. And then here are the last names over here. Of course, Peter Thiel being involved. He's the one who's like orchestrating this. Because I expose corruption in people in power, I do not have a seat at their table. So I do ask that you, the people, continue.
Fam. There's no shaking of cups over here, beloved. Oh, no, but there's more.
When you find out something you're not supposed to know, well, you're about to have it right now. What if I told you that there is a network of billionaires, politicians, and celebrities who have been holding secret conventions for 20 years to discuss our collective future without us in the room?
Absolutely. I also know the feeling of being dismissed and laughed at and made fun of, saying that you've done way too many drugs and that it's a conspiracy and that you're crazy. And I've been yelling this since the mid-90s. If anyone remembers me, they will tell you, man, Matt was always getting close to people and talking to people and finding out things. And then later on, oh shit. So I guess I have to do this bullshit again. This convention in which people talk about is, call it the Bohemian Grove, right? This place right here. This is the place, Bohemian Grove, all right? And this is definitely tied to the leak group message that has Cory Booker and Elon Musk and all these powerful elite people. Back in the days before social media, you would get lucky and you would talk to people in social gatherings that will talk about these things, right? And it was very, very hard to get information, to get eyes on. And as social media evolved, these databases and these talking points never went away. So when you were able to then do further research, you would find out these things. And then you would meet certain people in certain spaces and be like, yeah, it exists. This is what happens, blah, blah, blah. But check it out. The Bohemian Grove is a 2,700-acre private campground in Monte Rio, California, owned by the Bohemian Club, an exclusive all-male San Francisco-based club. Every summer, it hosts a 2-week encampment for powerful men in business, politics, and the arts, featuring lectures, performances, and the secretive cremation of care ceremony, which involves burning the large fucking owl statue. What isn't discussed is the blood rituals and other rituals, initiations to those who have aligned themselves to be a part of what's being leaked right now. And what's crazy is that I've been talking about this shit for well over 30 years. Well over 30 years. And finally, it's being leaked. That people we vote for, people that we like, people we've heard of, those with money, right? This goes on every July. So, when people, when you hear people say, oh, so-and-so's crazy, they're actually telling the truth, and they go crazy because they know the truth.
Swiss hackers have exposed the members of Peter Thiel's secretive society called Dialogue. The list is out there. You can go find it for yourself. I want you to go look. And there are a lot of names on there that are very shocking. So I don't want to get ahead of this story. It is still brand new. I need to do some further research on it. But please go Google this, read about it yourself. You can find the list. You can see who's in there. But this is a bad look.
Apparently, Peter Thiel, yes, the billionaire co-founder of Palantir, PayPal, and one of the most powerful one-percenters in right-wing tech politics, has a secret little circle jerk club called Dialogue.
Gotta remember, Palantir. Peter Thiel runs Palantir. Alex Karp is the CEO, but that's Peter Thiel's company. Palantir is basically Skynet. Palantir has ridiculous power over damn near everything on an electronic level. Surveillance. They're out there bodying shit. All of those drone attacks where they blowing shit up, that's all Palantir. The things that took place in Is It Real with the drone, that's all Palantir. Palantir is like Skynet. Feel me? So this crazy mother MFer, you know, just think Jeffrey Cleanup, right? Think all of the people got whacked and whatnot that was on that list in those emails, everybody that's coming up unalive. Think about those scientists that are getting whacked and whatnot, right? A lot of these orders are coming out of these societies that are coming together. And then somebody said, do you really think they let black people in there? Well, theoretically, Cory Booker and Westmore, go and Google them. They're not like they're not sure. They like amalgamated Moors. They're amalgamated. So, you know, they yeah, of course they're gonna let them in.
And Wired just reported that a massive leak by Swiss hackers exposed exactly who's involved and exactly what they're talking about. Now, this is where I need you to understand this looks like it's simply rich people doing rich people things at a conference, but that couldn't be further from the truth. This is a private, invitation-only society where people from tech, finance, government, intelligence, defense, data brokerage, and politics are meeting off the record. I'm gonna say that again, off the record. According to Wired, the 2026 retreat has 222 registrants. Side note, 222? Seriously? I need my spiritual girlies to weigh in on that one because there's no way that that's a coincidence. The leaked records reportedly include people marked as active members and guests, plus private details like political affiliation, personal emails, attendance history, and even matchmaking information. Yes, matchmaking, because apparently building the oligarchy also comes with Hinge for exceptional people. Wired says the roster includes sitting Trump administration officials, 2 U.S. senators, PayPal mafia figures, surveillance and data executives, and people connected to institutions like Palantir, the Pentagon, ICE, the intelligence world, Google DeepMind, the Anti-Defamation League, the Cato Institute, and the Koch Network. So when we talk about the elites, I don't mean that in like a vague conspiracy theory way. I literally mean these people, these billionaires, defense contractors, data brokers, elected officials, AI executives, and people who help shape public policy are all sitting in private rooms talking about war, AI, politics, social change, and power. And you're okay with that? Some of the listed session titles were Navigating World War III, Battlefield Technologies, Build a Cult, and Build a Party. Build a cult? Are you fucking kidding me? What about this is normal? Please enlighten me in the comments. Because to me, it sure as hell looks like these are the people building the surveillance tools, lobbying for deregulation, influencing elections, winning government contracts, shaping AI, and helping decide what the future looks like, all while the public, right, you and me, the people making all of this shit happen for these rich bastards, are locked out of the room. You and I get civic engagement, and they get private retreats. We get told to vote harder, they get access. We get algorithmic feeds and propaganda. They get off-the-record strategy sessions with senators, billionaires, defense people, and data executives. And mind you, the mastermind behind this elitist orgy, Peter Thiel, has openly questioned whether democracy and freedom are compatible. So when someone like that helps build private networks where tech money, government power, surveillance, and political influence all overlap, we should probably pay attention, right? Because this is how power works now. It's not like smoke-filled backrooms. No, sometimes it's an invite-only retreat with a wellness panel, a war panel, a dating app, and a bunch of people deciding the future without us. And the most revealing part? They promised privacy to each other, yet they keep building systems that strip privacy away from everybody else.
All of these people are in a secret society organized by Peter Thiel. They tried to keep it a secret, but the membership list just leaked. And look who's in here. Cory Booker, Jared Kushner, Ted Cruz, Elon Musk, Leonard Leo, the guy behind the right-wing takeover of the courts, and many more. Hackers obtained the membership list because it was embedded in the site of Peter Thiel's club, Dialogue. We're talking 200 plus of the world's most influential people, and they have secret invite-only retreats where they talk about money buying happiness, surviving World War III, and how's your sex life? Is that really something anybody wants to talk about with Ted Cruz? But this guy right here, Representative Jim Himes, is the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, which oversees agencies Palantir contracts with. He's also in Peter Thiel's private club, along with Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir and whose software runs case management for ICE. Right now, one of the federal government's spying programs is up for renewal, and Jim Himes is key in that discussion. He has found himself at odds with other Democrats over renewing this program, and at one point even tried to get Democrats to vote for a version of this program that didn't even include warrants for Americans. So when you see bad Democrats get in the way of progress, this type of thing makes it more clear. When they say it's a big club and you aren't in it, it's things like this that they're referring.
I think that for those of you that are into politics like that, and politics is your shit, go and get everything that Cory Booker voted on and everything that Westmore. You got to review and audit every effing thing because they're compromised. Okay? These people are not in these little boy clubs and whatnot talking about, they're talking about manipulating policy. Okay? Off record. Okay. One more.
Hey, so this just came out a couple hours ago, 4:21 p.m., June 16th, 2026. This is on Wired. Leak exposes members of Peter Thiel's secretive Dialogue Society. I highly recommend you go check it out. There are hundreds of individuals who.
Peter Thiel running to Argentina is not to chill with what was the nigga Ronaldo? The other one. You know who he is. Yeah, the soccer is not to go chill with him, right? It's to basically set up inside of a government. It's not to go chill with Messi, my niggas. It's basically he's running to Argentina to set up, as it appears to be, more than maybe a fucking retreat for Dialogue, or maybe they burnt down the Patagonia forest. They burnt down Patagonia and whatnot. So whatever he's over there doing, it has everything to do with this club and making moves for this club and whatnot. You feel me? But let's continue.
Are part of the world's elites that are apparently a part of this club. And a lot of these names you would not expect to be on there. It talks about a lot of the forums, and apparently once a year they get together at some exotic location in the world. This year it's August 12th through the 16th in Ireland. So friends across the pond, please be aware of that. They may move it after this has leaked, but who knows? You'd be kind of surprised by the names on here. You've got Peter Thiel, people you expect. You got Elon Musk, some of the tech bros for sure. Ted Cruz. You've got Cory Booker. You've got Ezra Klein, New York Times opinion columnist. You've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There are others, and Wire was able to confirm this. It was basically leaked through, I think, a Swiss hacker who had done previous exposés. It's been around since 2006 when Peter Thiel basically created it, and it's got U.S. officials, foreign government figures, Silicon Valley executives. Epstein was on there. He was apparently invited to the 2014 version of this, and this is after he was found guilty of crimes against minors in 2008, and he got that.
See, so Epstein is not even the big dog. He's part of the club. There's bigger fish out there. He's part of the club. He's not the big dog. You know what I'm talking about? He was trying to move around like the big dog, but he's not the big dog. That's why he's getting the scapegoat. That's why they're throwing everything. He did it. He said it. It was Epstein. You know what I mean? That's why they're throwing everything on him, and then either knocked him off or hit him and stashed him somewhere. Palm Beach Pete. You know what I mean? And you know that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. The person is still in power, and he's in the government now. He's JD Vance's handler. That's Peter Thiel, aka Reptile.
Sweetheart deal, right? So Epstein was a part of that. There's no confirmation that he went, but he was invited. Some of the topics that they talk about are, money does bring happiness, bring back nuclear, navigating World War III, battlefield technologies, and how's your sex life? And apparently there's matchmaking as well inside of this program. There's build a cult, build a party. 2 U.S. senators who I mentioned, 6 members of the PayPal mafia, former Middle East chief of intelligence, and a sitting ambassador to the United States, and tons of surveillance data broker and advertising data companies. So please go look at that list. The names are going to surprise you. Again, Wired, check it out. Peter Thiel and Dialogue. All right, I think this is going to kind of light things up for a little while. I can't find it on any of the major news sources yet, but it is on Wired, and a couple of smaller sources are starting to report it. We'll see if it takes off, but maybe it'll take off quicker with our help. All right, thanks.
Literally in the past 30 days, read everything I can about Anthropic.
Now, in lieu of this report, and in lieu of certain type of exposés that are coming out, and definitely in lieu of the techno bros, which are like the techno oligarchs, you got a person walking around that's a trillionaire right now. And as we spoke before, transhumanism is a religion. It's not a concept. It's a religion, right? The same way that they have Abrahamic religions, transhumanism is a religion practiced by many of the Satanists and these oligarchs and whatnot. And when you look at Anthropic, you have to really raise an eyebrow and ask yourself, how innocent are they in this whole thing, right? They're playing like the good guys. That's their cover. But Google, their cover was the good guy for a while. And so was Meta until they had to take their mask off and whatnot. They was able to fake the good guy for about 20 some odd years. And then they were like, you know what? Let's just take the mask off and show our fangs and whatnot. And we're going to roll out a new group of companies. They got this whole ticker called Mango now. Microsoft, Amazon. I don't know all of the tickers. Yeah, the day traders, y'all know what it is. Mango, right? So now they got these new companies that have popped out and whatnot, and they're becoming the good guys while the good guys turn bad. You see how that cycle goes? And then in the next 10 years, there'll be a crop of another fake socially conscious organizations maybe not in 10 years, but this shit might be up in 10 years, but you know what I'm saying. So let's check out what homie got to say about Anthropic, the people behind Mythos and the people behind Fable 5, the most powerful system, the most powerful AI on the planet, so powerful that the White House made them take it off the market last week while I was in the middle of making a goddamn video game. They snatched that shit from me. I think I was in the bed for a day after that. I was sick. I ain't gonna lie. I was sick. That shit felt like a rib shot. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, they took Mythos and they took Fable from us. But Anthropic, you know, they out here playing both sides of the fence. Anthropic were the ones who knocked off the supreme leader of Iran. And they were the ones who snatched up Maduro. They did that with Anthropic, my niggas.
And I've come up with a new theory. This
New breaking theory.
The reason I call this the Dr. Frankenstein theory is the more I dig, I've met people who I dare say think it's their responsibility and they're excited about building a species that's superior to humans. And I would just encourage people to read, as much as they can about Anthropic. Chris Ola worked on this thing called the Constitution. It's about 80 pages. It's hard to get through, but I would encourage you to read it. Amanda Askill, who is the chief philosopher, has started doing podcasts. I would encourage you to listen to them and listen to her language. And then Dario wrote this blog post called Machines of Loving Grace.
Loving Grace. Yeah,
yes.
I read it.
And it was based on a poem. And the poem is kind of weird. We should put a link to the poem. It's quite short. But the last stanza of the poem says, I like to think of a cybernetic ecology where we are free of our labors and joined back to nature, return to our mammal brothers and sisters. I don't know what that means. Like we're going to go live in the fields where the mammals live. And then the kicker, and all watched over by machines of loving grace. Sounds like Overlord to me. And then in Dario's post, he says near the end, and it's very long. You read it, Jamal. I mean, Machines of Loving Grace is very long, but he's talking about in the future, what are humans going to do? Because he believes in the massive abundance and UBI and that we won't have to work. I don't believe in any of those things, but he does. And then he says, it could be a capitalist economy of AI systems, which then give out resources to humans based on some secondary economy of what the AI systems think makes sense to reward in humans. So that's envisioning a deity of sorts that's going to break ties and decide what humans get.
It's a computational reward function for humans. It decides how much you're worth.
Yeah, so I don't think they think they're writing software. I think they're midwifing a deity here. And I don't know which one I'm more afraid of, the regulatory capture or this second theory I call the Dr. Frankenstein theory. It's more scary to me, I think, the second thing.
These are delusions of grandeur. Let's call it what it is. They believe that they are so intelligent. I know some of these folks, the Burning Man sort of offshoot of it, transhumanism, they believe that they're so powerful, these individuals, that they can create God. And that by creating God, they are like this Prometheus kind of species.
There goes that Prometheus again. Midwifing a deity, my niggas. Think about that. We're going to go a little bit deeper. I do owe y'all another episode of the Iowa series, Artificial Intelligence as Artificial Intelligence as a Weapon Service. Yeah, Iowas. Yeah, we about to cook that one up, man, because it's about time. They done went full motherfucking Skynet on us ever since we dropped the last one. They done went full Skynet. So yeah, the ducks are in a row, and we might be ready to release that in a minute. I want that to be more like a video essay. I don't want to do it as a live. I want to do that as a video essay. I'm actually about to start switching into the video essay mode and doing less lives and whatnot. I'm about to go video essay on them and see how y'all like those long form and you know, test that out, see what that do. But the information is just information in these days. But yeah, let us continue to cook these people's goose. You know what I'm saying? It's so much. The shit is just all falling apart. Let's deal with the average pecker wood. Check this out.
Crazy. Basically, last month, every fucking day of the month, there was a white man being caught for pedophilia. These are the people being caught that got caught for the month of May 2026. And every last one of them is a MAGA, including this house Negro. Look at it. These are white American Christian men practicing white culture. This is the reason why a lot of... Again, one of the things that blows my mind is when we start talking about all these things, exposing all these men, what they do, blah, 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 blah. And then you come and see women of other races going, oh my God, I go to sleep every day wishing for one of these men. Really? So, I got nothing to say.
As the world turns and Babylon falls and whatnot, there's another fool that we want to highlight. And it's crazy that I haven't heard too many I ain't heard no backlash. Today is Thursday, and this incident took place, I think, on a Saturday or Sunday, and the shit just already went away. It just goes to show, you know, where people are at and whatnot. The people are distracted though. The people are being pulled in multiple directions. And in one hand, they looking for Charleston White, and on the other hand, they in Mississippi protesting. And then on another hand, so people got their hands tied. They doing the New York celebrations and shit. So people are pretty tied up, you know what I mean? But that dude at the UFC, no, he ain't get no smoke. I heard shit from Dana White, Donald Trump, Trump Jr. Nobody had to denounce anything. But if this shit happened at an Obama event, they would have been hanging him from his balls and whatnot. And black people, y'all would have had to apologize in the streets, at the airport, and at your job. Facts.
Still curious as to why this UFC fighter used his one shining moment on the White House lawn on national television to call Michelle Obama a man. I talked about this in my last video on how that trope, the masculinization of black women, came about, but I didn't talk about who perpetuated that trope the most. And the answer is white women. And there's two subtopics here, and I want to touch on both. Topic number one, the economy. Topic number two, sex. Let's start with the first one. Outside the plantations during the slave era, the labor and the economic markets were dominated by men as the primary producers, which shaped the public perception on gender roles. Women, meaning white women, were not to lift a finger, certainly not to do physical labor. Yet the very visible and relentless labor being done by enslaved black women that was propelling America into economic success raised some really uncomfortable conversations about whether or not women could do work. So when the narrative came around that black women weren't really women, they were capable of handling all this work because they were men, white women were of the biggest perpetuants of that narrative because it stopped people from asking questions about their economic inactivity. The second one, sex. White women also became the biggest fans of the narratives that masculinized black women, that said black women aren't really women, they're men, because white slave owners were having sexual relationships with enslaved black women. In my last video, I talk about the Jezebel, a narrative that came up of black women that said that they were insatiable and they were sexual temptress. And this was a coping mechanism that white slave owners used to justify the fact that they were just attracted to some of these black women. But white women loved and perpetuated this narrative that black women weren't really women. They were so masculine that they were damn near men, because it made it uncomfortable for some white slave owners to admit and agree that they were sexually attracted to black women, thus quelling their jealousy and pushing white slave owners away from these relationships with black women. And here we are in 2026, centuries later, and those made-up narratives that black women aren't really women, they're men. These made-up narratives that were created to help white people soothe their egos. These made-up narratives that justified the torture and the torment of black people still exist today. So much so, they're just on national television for everybody to consume. Isn't that interesting? The more you know, the more you know.
Interesting. Check this out. Let's do a little catch up on that boycott that's going on.
Has anybody else besides me noticed that that community is very loud right now? They're loud. They're rage baiting. They're doing all of that. Keep in mind, when they had full access to the Black American dollar, they had nothing to say. They can be as anti-black as they wanted because they felt some type of entitlement to the Black American dollar. And now that the Black American community is pulling their dollar from that community, they don't like that. Because the generational wealth that they built is about to be transferred back to the Black community. Now, I am aware that there are some in our community that are still going to visit those establishments. And that's okay, because you can't save everybody, and everybody don't want to be saved. But imagine being of that community, and you're so angry that you're louder than Targets when we first started boycotting them. And we're still boycotting them. But you don't need black dollars, right?
Kicking off Juneteenth weekend already with the petty betties. If there was ever anything to really set off Juneteenth weekend, I mean the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, is definitely this. Welcome back, y'all, because this almost Juneteenth, and you know I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm blacker than black, because I'm black, y'all. I'm blah, black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm so happy for the Obamas for getting their presidential center that I thought I'd come and share with y'all the joy that I have surrounding this, because there's so many nuances that I feel like a lot of us missed. Starting off first, coming in hot, the Obamas got their own presidential center. Just shortly after, I want to say 2 weeks after, Donald Trump tried to forcefully put his name and include his name onto the Kennedy Center. And they fought him in court and won. So they had to embarrassingly scrape his name, Trump, off of the Kennedy Center. Meanwhile, the people just gave the Obamas. They're not even the president. Listen, they're not even in that Oval Office no more. But the people still taking care of them. Do you hear me? The forever president. Yes, God. And you know everybody is showed up and showed out. Kamala was there. The Clintons was there. The Bushes was there, baby. The Bidens was there. Everybody and their mama was at this opening in Chicago. It's insane. I think even Quinta Brunson was there. Baby, I've been watching video after video after video, getting lost in it. In between researching. But definitely over there being nosy. Listen, don't get mad at me. I'm trying to be over there where the electric slide is happening at. It's Juneteenth weekend. You can let me slide on this, okay? Electric slide. Anyways, I rewatched all the clips in the videos. I didn't get the full video, But I rewatched a handful of the clips and the videos, and I feel like I got a pretty good gist of how things went down. And it looked like things went amazing. Like they went swimmingly, in particular with First Lady Michelle Obama's speech, in which she not only threw a little bit of shade, but acknowledged her husband for winning the Nobel Peace Prize. You know who didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize but desperately wanted it? We don't have to mention his name, but you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. And just might I add, losing the Iranian war that you started and told the entire world, or participated in starting, and told the entire world that you would do a better job at Barack Obama could have ever done, but you now have to admit defeat, like in real time, but literally signing it the day before Juneteenth. My ancestors is having a field day with this one. I mean, it was such a beautiful event. The Presidential Center. Also, First Lady rocking a picture of her mom on her skirt, pouring out some libations for the ancestors, and we all sip tea. We sip tea and we clock it. Period. And this is what it looks like when you lead with love. When you lead with love instead of haterade and holleration in this dancery. Because they over there electric sliding, eating potato salad with no raisins. Having the time of their life. Everybody's tuned in. Wishing that we were there. The very next weekend after that piss poor ass UFC event that happened on the front lawn of the White House. That the whole world called ghetto. Oh my God. Make me, if I die, make me, God, please. I want to come back as black every single time. A black woman in every lifetime, in every timeline. Make me black. Always make me black. Make me black. I'm going to choose black every single time. It's just something about it. It's just something about being blacker than black. It's just something about it. It's just something about it. It's just something. And I bet that the Obeezy presidential ceremony felt like a family reunion. With a couple friends of the family there. It felt like a family reunion. It looked like it. It just looked like it was a good time and the energy was right. That there was no foolishness and fuckery and stupidity going on. I guarantee you, from the White House, they was all watching. Mad as shit. Damn, the party look good over there. Shit. I guarantee you they got them baby shower meatballs. Damn. Would you say they got their funeral curry chicken too? Fuck. Yeah, that's what it's giving. It's giving Burberry shirt energy all up and through this mamma jamma. And the craziest part about it is, did you know that the Oval Office that was a set built by Shonda Rhimes for 7 years on the hit show Scandal was donated to the Obama Presidential Center it was donated for it to be there in Chicago forever. Like, it was literally a gift. It was gifted, the whole set. Furniture, curtains, you name it, baby. Shonda, girl, for the culture. You ate that up, girl. You ate it up. Oh my God. Now see how the community comes together to support one another. You see what happens when we lead with love and the community comes together to uplift and support and love one another. And might I add, First Lady Michelle Obama's speech, it was everything. I caught the shade with an open mic. Oh yeah, we all caught the shade. We knew the shade was coming because they had your name in their mouths. Ever since they wanted to be in that White House so much, just to be in the White House and be shouting from the rooftops and the windows, Obeezy, Obama, Obeezy. Like, damn. What the fuck? Damn. Aren't you the president? Why you got their name in your mouth? But also, this is lit. Like, y'all don't understand. I want to go to this presidential center just to see the set. Like, just to see all of this. I think that's so cool. And it'd be so amazing to introduce children to this center, especially the children in Chicago, to introduce them to the center and introduce them to the set, give them the back. Just imagine the tours that'll be happening. The lights, the little lights inside of these beautiful children that will be turned on by just the aura of being inside of this presidential center. Like, this is just so tea. Because I was wondering, like, why I feel like our shit being censored today. It feel like our shit being heavily censored today. It is, because they don't want us paying attention to what's going on in Chicago. They're mad. They're really mad that The Obeezies is where the party is at. The Obeezies, Obama and them, Uncle Barack and Auntie Michelle. Oh, the party is always lit at their house. It's always a good time. You gotta stay and clean up, okay? Because Auntie Michelle don't play like that. Okay, it's rules around this mug. But it's always gonna be a lituation over there. You gotta show respect. You can't be cussing and take your shoes off at the front door. And make sure you got your church clothes ready. And don't forget that you gotta give a testimony this Sunday because you're a visitor. And don't even pretend like you're not a visitor. You have to give a testimony, okay? Or they're going to try and baptize you. But it's gonna be the whole weekend. It's gonna be lit. Like it's gonna be a good time. Like it's just gonna be so amazing. Oh my God! Could you imagine the barbecues that's happening? They throwing something on the grill for show you right on. I'm surprised that the grills wasn't outside. Like I'm surprised that Michelle was giving her speech, but the grills wasn't.
Bruh. Am I seeing what I think that I'm seeing? Did this nigga roll out the Legion of Doom? Did this nigga just roll out the fucking Legion of Doom, bro? Am I looking at George W., Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden? Okay.
Right there, near the stage. Unkin' and wasn't already flipping shit on the grill. You know what I mean? Like, that's shocking to me. I just feel like for the culture, they should have had like a whole line of grills. Everybody getting barbecue, you know what I'm saying? Barbecue. It's Juneteenth weekend. Put something on the grill. Let's get into
but on the shared values that make democracy possible. A belief in the intrinsic dignity and worth of all people, and that no one is above the law or beneath its protection. A belief in checks and balances in our government. And the exhibits here focus not just on policies, but on the shared values that make democracy possible. A belief in the intrinsic dignity and worth of
meta tripping once again, but you get it. You get it. You get it, girl. Anyways, this is the perfect way to set off Juneteenth. I don't know what the
exhibits here.
Look, everybody not conscious like y'all. You know, which is a great segue for me to show something real quick. You know, she's woke, you know what I'm saying? Respectfully. She has her limits of where she's at, but it's all good because everybody is where they're at, you know what I'm saying? And this is not one of those weird type of situations where everybody has to be on the same level of quote unquote awakeness. She does the job that she does with her reporting is good enough. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not as well-rounded. And for y'all in the audience that's acting all high sedity and whatnot, remember when you had your head in the sand and you were climbing up the ladders. So just keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? And look at your behavior as to where you at and how people were shitting on you when you were trying to wake up. You know, what I would do is I would take her IG because she's plastered all over her videos, and I would enlighten her because she has enlightened you to a degree, to some level. I would enlighten her. I wouldn't talk crazy. I would enlighten her because people are literally in the beginning stages of their waking up. As you could tell in her video, the October 7th woke her up. It wasn't like she was in the books and doing all of this. She woke up off of that, off of Is It Real War and whatnot. So I do want to show you this because Father's Day is on Sunday, and I've been doing a series of paying homage to people in this community, fathers, men, not to take anything away from the women, because I did pay homage to the women. Each one of these men have either a queen that is actively in their lives, or you know, they've been inspired and they've had women, they had rocks around them. You know, they've never acknowledged them doing it on their own. As we know, you know, the women, the divine feminine is the active principle. It is who covers us, who prays for us, who sees the God in us, who inspires us, who pushes us to be greater than we are in our mundane self. You dig? So these men might not necessarily have fathered a child, right? But I'm calling them the Babas of consciousness. And it's not even a master teacher thing. I did the master teacher thing for part one. Those were like all master teachers because I was like, I wanted to kick it off and really just hammer home the idea of paying homage to the master teachers. I'm like, yo, those are like the fathers of my conscience. Those are the fathers of, they fathered styles and whatnot. So the first list was Dr. Blair, Dr. Henrik Clark, Malcolm X, Dr. Sabi, Hakeem Bey, Brother Dawood, Taj Tariq Bey, C. Freeman L., Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Ivor Van Sertima, Dr. Felder, Marcus Garvey, Dr. Jeffries, Father Allah. And I would say those were considered like, those are like masters and everything. And this third list is all masters as well, but it's a mixture of young masters, OGs, triple OGs, and I'm paying homage, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to pay homage to the men so they don't become overlooked. And I want to highlight the fact that these men, they are not sexist, they're not gender biased and whatnot. They taught women and men and children and whatnot, from the books that they wrote to the discoveries that they made to the lectures that they contributed to and whatnot. You feel me? So I'm gonna pull the list up and whatnot. We're gonna go through the list. And if you never heard of any of these people and whatnot, I did that as well to highlight people so y'all could go and check them out, because I don't be knowing everybody in every community. I have to do my research to find out who is who. So this is Baba Khomeini, aka Booker T. All right. He's a historian and he's a legend. All right. This is Brother Sharif Anail Bey. I remember when I first got in the game, Sharif was already cooking. Y'all just kind of found out about Sharif from Brother Rich and shit. But I remember Sharif was putting out, he was a legend amongst the Moors like early 2000s. So Sharif been cooking, he been in his bag and whatnot. He been standing on business. And it's just good to see him still relevant, still standing on business, getting even sharper. Okay, the Kabbalah guy, who saw the Kabbalah guy on tour with West Side Gun in Europe? Who saw A. Rashid on tour with West Side Gun, the Heel tours? He's in Europe. Yeah, he was out there with Griselda. That's the Griselda Svengali. That's the Griselda Yoda right there. If you hear any of West Side Gun's projects, he always has A. Rashid open it up with like spoken word and shit. That's his guy right there. So shout out to the Kabbalah God. Me and we go way back, you know what I mean? We go way back to the 90s, you know what I'm saying? I actually lived with him and his family for a little while when I was going through some of my at-risk teenager years and shit. You know what I mean? Shout out to the God. KT the Arch Degree, my younger brother, he's touched many. He's done some powerful things. He brought the science to the community. He's a Sabi acolyte, you know what I mean? Chicago crypto block bully. He's brought the information to thousands. He's helped out his community. He's built out an online community. He's helped people get rich with the crypto, and he stays consistent. And I told him the other day when he was in the audience in the chat, and I was like, I know that his heart is pure because, you feel me? He don't have to necessarily teach every day. I'm not counting his money and whatnot, but I know he done tapped in. You know what I'm saying? I know that he has a nice amount of fallback money and everything, and he's still in the trenches, teaching the crypto, and he's very dedicated. So, the brother, and I know, he as a father, you know what I'm saying, in the mean streets of Chicago, the brother he's been holding it down for his children and for other people's children and whatnot. And for that, happy Father's Day, King. You know what I'm saying? I see the Duke of Tear, the early days in New York City, you know what I mean? We was out there making legendary shit when we first popped out. You know what I mean? It was a movie and whatnot. But he's consistent. He's still working. He's still opening up eyes, freeing people. And yeah, salute. Ra Aku, you already know. Another one, you know what I'm saying? He popped out, made it, you know what I mean? Stood on his business, taught the people, created a whole modality with the cosmophysics, woke up a whole bunch of people. He's a Scorpion, just like myself and AA. No holds barred. He's gonna give it to you raw, the way that I like it. You know what I'm saying? No chaser. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, shout out to Ra Aku, the Cosmo physician. Riza Islam, one of my paradigm shifter bros. I met Riza Islam around 2017. You know what I'm saying? He's always been the same person. Every time that I see him, we was in a group together, and we took a vow to wake the people up and to stand on business and to keep this shit lit. You know what I mean? Keep the torch lit. And that's what he's been doing. And I salute the brother. He's a father as well, a new Baba. You know what I'm talking about? Got the baby. Salute to him and his wife. And yeah, keep doing your thing. 19 Keys, that's another one. We met around 2017. You know what I mean? We was a part of the Paradigm Shifters. We done put in a lot of work, you know what I mean? And the brother, he did what he said that he was gonna do. He told me when we first met what his vision was, and he carried that out. You know what I'm saying? He definitely carried that out, and he's been inspiring thousands, if not millions, and whatnot with his walk, right? Father Rich, aka 363 Empire, aka Black Magic. You know what I mean? I remember the days when Rich was behind the camera. You know what I'm talking about? And you just heard the voice. You never knew what he looked like. He was Ghostface Killer and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And he's we linked up. We met. We knew Rich for a long time, and he was but we started working together, locking in like around 2015, I believe, when me and Blue popped up on his platform, and we've been doing it ever since. Good brother, very, very talented brothers, uber talented producer, music producer, almost like a genius when it comes to, creating content, all of that, Radiohead, you know what I'm talking about? And also a Baba, a real father, and shout out to his seed, shout out to his wife, shout out to his family, a real family man. Sanetta, you know what I'm talking about? AKA they say Sachetta, a triple OG in this, a very controversial figure, but a Baba nonetheless. Sanetta has many children. And I ain't talking about biological. I'm talking about he fathered so many men, so many women. He's given so many people an opportunity to become stars and whatnot. He gave me the opportunity to be a star. I was already shining, but he shined a brighter light on me. Me and this man have clashed over the years. Even all the way back in 2009, we went to war. You know what I'm saying? And we made up, and we locked in, and we've been working. Then we fell out again. And but I always respect the man. You feel me? I always respect what he means to my journey. What he did in Harlem is unprecedented. I don't think nobody has ever been able to duplicate that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody has ever came across and had a bigger impact in consciousness as Sarnetta. He's gonna always go down as the kingmaker, the Don King, the Don Dada, the Don Lemon, you know what I'm saying? The Don Johnson, you know what I mean? And maybe even the Don Trump. He's just the Don, you know what I mean? So, but he sparked a lot of people, man. You know what I mean? Yakala, he's one of those polarizing figures. And but Sa is Sa. If you understand him, he's an Aries. So you just gotta understand him to understand how he moved. Now, this man right here, my grandfather, I'm sorry, my mother's dad, Lloyd Thomas, who is a calypso singer from St. Croix, used to play the ukulele. This was one of his students right here, because unbeknownst to a lot of people, Louis Farrakhan was a calypso singer and whatnot. And we actually literally got to meet Louis Farrakhan in Harlem. He brought my grandfather on stage when he was at a church on 129th, like in 2006, and he had us come and sit the front row. And you know, that was like a big moment in my life, because when I was like a youth, when I was a jit, like in the late 80s and whatnot, we used to listen to Farrakhan cassettes. You feel me? And Farrakhan was like a rap god for the early rappers. They would play Farrakhan in their intros, like Public Enemy. So we always knew about Farrakhan. We always was familiar with Farrakhan. But when I started listening to his cassettes and whatnot, I was divinely inspired. I was like, wow, this dude is a legend. You feel me? Because he was speaking to a part of me that was kind of dormant. You know what I mean? So there's been controversies around, you know, the nation and Malcolm and all of that. And I didn't get involved in all of that because, you know, I'm not in the nation. So that's really none of my business. I was going to join the nation. I told people this before. When my daughter was born, it was around 2014, I believe. I literally went to one of the meetings and they was like, yo, whoever's ready to join, come up. Right. And I got up and my shoelace was untied. And then when I bent over to tie my shoelace, somebody walked past me and shit. And then and Spirit was like, if you don't sit your ass down. So I tied my shoelace and I sat down. But I literally was on the way up to the front. They got me. They had me with the, you know what I'm talking about? I was about to be suited and booted. I was going to be with Rizza Islam and them. You know what I'm talking about? This was before I even met Rizza and all of them. I was going to, yeah, they had the cards like in that, yo, write your name, come up and if you want to, I was going to do it. Yeah, they would have had Red Pill with the newspapers and shit. You feel me? But I didn't do it. But I do respect the nation. You know what I'm saying? I've always respected the nation. Dr. Wesley, he's on part 4, the last part that we're going to be doing. You know, Wesley Muhammad, you know, Kevin Muhammad, Rising Power, you know what I'm saying? And it was under it was Temple 7 under the leadership of the good brother Kevin Muhammad, Rising Power. And that's why I was inspired. I was like, yeah, and then I seen Carlos Muhammad has spoke that day. He from Baltimore, and his spit was so real. Like his shit, when he talked about envy that time, it was so compelling. I was like, damn. But I snapped out of that. I was like, bro, you're Red Pill. And all I heard was Bobby Hemmett. Don't you be joining no organization in 2020. And it woke me back up. Like, bro, relax. You know, I know these two right here. These the twin pillars. Yeah, them brothers helped me out too. I was going through some shit and they showed me how to swag it out. They showed me how to do the researching. They showed me the health. They helped me with the jury and all of that stuff. But yeah, shout out to the twin pillars. And they got some good music too. All right, Derek Grace. Okay, another one of the paradigm shifters. Derek Grace was very instrumental in a lot of things. I went to Derek Grace. We went to his house in Tampa. That was the first time I heard Nipsey Hussle's album. What was that? The last one he did, Victory Lap. Because him and Derek Grace was locked in. He was actually going to do something with Derek Grace. But when Derek Grace sat us down and he was dropping some gems on us, all of the paradigm shifters, and he was dropping some shit on us, just about like just he's a fucking genius. And of course, you'll look at him and you'll be like, damn, he got the tattoos on his face, he got the gold, he kind of ratchet and whatnot. He be on his polygamy shit. and people write him off. I literally will watch people judge him as he was, but he don't care. And he made me not care. I'm like, if this nigga don't care, I don't care. And I remember when we started rocking with the shifters and whatnot, they were different than the average conscious people that you seen on 125th Street. So it was like people were like, "Damn, who are these niggas? Y'all got dudes with face tats. They rocking gold." This was like 2017. It was before that was accepted. But Derek Grace, the shit that he was telling me about marketing, the things that he understood who he was, and he understood how to go viral, and he understood a lot of things about just branding and whatnot. And then when I seen how he was handling security and teaching his daughters and whatnot how to shoot and how to arm themselves, I was like, son is a legend. You know what I mean? So DG knows from day one to till it's over with. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapped in. I rock with son. You know what I mean? He a real one. And I just seen him recently too. So I rock with son. You know what I mean? And I tell people, do not judge a book by its cover, because you will look at him and think he don't know nothing, but he know a lot. And he's one of those people who has a bookshelf that is out of this world. He's constantly updating his knowledge and whatnot. Melchizedek, the legend. I'm talking about the 120. There's nowhere in Harlem that don't know Melchizedek. Melchizedek is a staple, not just in New York City and the Nation of Islam worldwide, bro. He and the Nation of Gods and Earth. It's rumored that he's Flavor Flav's father. I don't like spreading no rumors and whatnot. Melchizedek like 90, bro. Facts. You would not be able to tell. Melchizedek about 90, bro. Black don't crack. You know what I'm talking about? He just one of them ones. He just one of them ones, man. Now I'm dead ass. Melchizedek is one of them ones. Like, he is a straight up soldier. You know what I'm saying? He stands 10 toes down and whatnot. A straight warrior. You know what I mean? Straight warrior. They don't even make him like this no more. He's one of those. He's in a class by himself. He's cut from a way different cloth. All right. Malachi Z. York. Like I said, when I was coming up, that's who I was reading. That's who I was tapping into. My OGs put me on to him. He done raised up so many real street niggas and whatnot. He raised up the rappers. Another one, we was listening to the rappers and whatnot, and they was talking about Malachi Z. York and Farrakhan. That's who they was talking about. That's who was on the hip hop intros and whatnot. You feel me? I read the Holy Tabernacle when I was locked up in shock. You know what I'm saying? And it was so good that if you was caught reading anything in that program, they was gonna send you to the big house. You would get packed up on the spot. They would revoke everything. You would get arrested, because I was like in a boot camp. But you couldn't read it was super strict. No newspaper, no TV, no nothing. So we literally had, and this shit was considered contraband. The Holy Tabernacle, it looked like an encyclopedia. But I was, it was like 2000, a year two, right before the towers fell. And it was like, when I started reading it, it just spoke to the alien part of me. It spoke to my alien side, and I was hooked. I don't think I ever wanted to be a Nubian, but I damn sure I was very into the information at that point. Now, this man right here, of course, he comes before my time, but I was taught by my father and my grandfather and people who were of a certain ilk that he was to be respected at all times by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? They didn't necessarily tell us all about the Malcolm beef and everything, but as children, we kind of, we was a little familiar with that. It was the Spike Lee movie that showed us a lot of shit going on. It was the Spike Lee, but Elijah Muhammad was all with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in black communities, especially in New York. it was like he was one of them ones that you could not talk crazy about. You feel me? Like his information, because he built a strong nation. So you just, you just saw the power of the Nation of Islam, and you just had to respect the fact that they were standing up to what they called the devil back then, and that they was on 10 toes. They looked clean. These was reformed killers. This is my brother Shyam, aka Mansa Isa Muhammad and whatnot. He is a legend. He's all the way back from Moors in Court. Shyam basically kind of been locked in with us. We all came up together. You know what I'm saying? We all came up around the same times. 06, 07, 08. Oh, he had controversy, a lot of controversy. He was a firebrand back then. He's mellowed out by now. He's mellowed out. He's a married man. He's a businessman. He's always been a businessman, but he was in a mix of a lot of because he was debating people, and he was definitely challenging a lot of the conscious bullies and whatnot. He was tapping a lot of jaws, and you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of fights going on, intellectual warfare between him and other sects of Moors and other people outside of the Moorish nation that were attacking Moors. But salute to the God, genius, right? King Simon, my guy, genius, master of ceremonies, you know what I mean? Numerology, remember Game of Thrones? That's Littlefinger right there. That's Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. If there's something going on, King Simon is always in the middle. But that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely, if you need to know something, you're going to ask King Simon. He'll let you know. He's like the internet. But that's my guy right there. Salute to him. Brother Oba. A lot of people don't know about Oba like that. But Oba's impact when it comes to the magic, when it comes to Palo Mayombe and everything, brother Oba is a Baba, he's very powerful, and powerful. When powerful people talk about this man, they speak of him in high regards. Okay, high regards, and I'm personally witness his power. Matter of fact, we go all the way back to the streets. Rest in peace to Italo. One of my very, 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 I considered him to be my cousin. Him and Oba were like best friends and whatnot. This was back in the days when, we was in the streets and whatnot. Oba come from the streets, and, it's so beautiful to share the stage with him. It's so beautiful that he has evolved and turned into brother Oba. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my homage. That's my part 3 to the fathers, to the Babas, to the OGs. You feel me? To the ones who paved the way, to the ones who are now teaching the others, to the young elders. You smell me? And yeah, it is what it is. If y'all are on your path, these men are definitely worthy of looking into. Let me see something. I'll probably go through the other ones too real quick. Let me just show y'all, because Spirit is telling me that some Dr. Yaki, yeah, there's a part 4. Look, it's so many legends. Don't even get in your feelings, bro. It's so many legends. I can't cover them in one thing because it's only 20 slots, my G. It ain't my fault that there's so many fucking legends in this community. But these legends, y'all don't talk about these legends. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear people mention these names and whatnot, so I gotta bring them out. You know what I mean? When I make the list, then everybody be like, what about that person? What about that person? I'm like, y'all gotta wait. Y'all make your own list. How about that? Where's your list at? Tag me. Where's your list? Cause y'all got me doing all of this shit. Where's your list at? You know what I mean? It's a lot of names. There's a lot of legends. I didn't even know it was so many legends. I might have to do 5 parts. Because the part 4 list right now, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. God damn. 20 names on part 4 that y'all didn't even hear about. 20 names. Dr. Africa is one of them. Yaki is one of them. B-Del is one of them. Aline Bay is one of them. Sheikh Anta Diop, Sarasu and Seti. Yeah, I ain't forgetting nobody. I just added me and Blue. We was in part 3. I just went over that. I had me and my brother. I ain't gonna overlook us. You know, Pop Darby is in there. Uriel Bay is in there. Natural Tahuti is in there. You know what I'm saying? My father is in there. You know, Brother Heru, Ofari, Atta, Professor Griff. Look. So here we got Noble Drew Ali. You know, so many people heard of him, but I don't know. We're not putting no women in there. It's Father's Day. Okay? It's Father's Day. The fuck? Oh, Rod Hayes. I already told y'all. I do my Mother's Day. I ain't, you know what I mean? When it comes to Mother's Day, I got the Mother's Day lineup as well. I pay them homage as well. We giving the fathers some love. We got it. Can the fathers live? Could the fathers live? Could the men live? Please. Could we get our moment? You know what I'm talking about? You know? Respectfully. Because we get shitted on. We get overlooked. But when you look at it, when I'm throwing all of these names, shout out to Hitside, you in the building, what up, Mo? When you look at it, who the fuck is saving shit? Who's lifting, who's uplifting humanity? Who's putting in this work? I heard a woman say, oh, I could make a child on my own. You're a fucking lie. Stop doing that. Let these men live, man. Let the men breathe, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need some love. Noble Drew Ali. I thought this was Dr. York. They said it is not. But the thing is, when you clean up pictures with the AI, if y'all notice, it be changing shit. Because I upgraded these pictures because they was mad blurry and whatnot. So I had to 4K them. But there's something about the AI. That shit will change some of your features. Brother Panic, the legend. Ross Ben, the legend. Dr. Amos Wilson, the legend. Uncle Hank Rising, son, the legend. Baba Smalls, Professor Smalls, the legend. Professor Smalls, and whoever disrespected Professor Smalls, you'll never get on my list. How about that? Niggas done scratch. I done scratch names off the list. You'll never get on these lists if you disrespected the elders. As fuck you. You know what I'm saying? How about that? Baba Kalindi. You know what I'm saying? Baba Kalindi. Salute. Azariah, aka Azazel Bay. Rise in power. A lot of these people are no longer with us. So we got to keep their names alive because they have legacies they are the unsung heroes of Black America and literally Black people around the world. The reason why the world is vibrating and the Schumann resonance is spiking like that, a lot of these men's fingerprints is a reason behind that. Okay? And salute to their wives who play a big part in all of that. And then salute to the women, the women of the movement who helped us and you know, spread the information, the Suzars of the world, you know, the Shahrazad Alis of the world, you know, big up. Okay, this is a legend right here. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't think people understand how serious this shit really is. Baba Ajra Kwesi is no joke. The work that he done put in, no joke. He didn't play about his image either. If you was out there selling DVDs bootleg, he's sending them. Your table was gonna get flipped. He was not playing. He was one of the ones who taught me about intellectual property and how you have to stand on that shit and don't let nobody play with your image and your likeness and your IP. Stay, you know, yo, bro. He's serious about his IP. Baba Dick Gregory, People know about Dick Gregory, but they don't know his story, though. His story is a movie. It's an epic. It's like 4 parts. Facts. He lived about 4 different lives. And he ran for president. And he ran on feet from Washington, D.C., I think, to New York City. He ran wild. He ran like, fuck the monks and whatnot. The monks was copying Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory ran from state to state to state and was on a hunger strike. How about that? Infudishi, Baba Infudishi, legend. Khalid Muhammad, not DJ Khaled, Khalid Muhammad. Dr. Ben, okay. Black Dot, Steve Coakley, Baba Heru, you know what I'm saying? Lester Lovin, and we got Lloyd Strayhorn. Legends. These are all legends, bro. Delbert Blair, right? Who, I ain't gonna say their names, but they got scientists in this community that fucking straight hijacked the legend and then act like they didn't know him. That's why they don't get no respect from me. You know what I'm talking about? Astaghfirullah, and shame on you niggas. Y'all need to give this man all of the credit, because everything going on scientifically, if you have any word coming out your mouth using scientific terms, you talking about aliens, if you don't give Delbert Blair no props, I don't even acknowledge you. You are in error. Straight like that. Give the legends their props, because none of you niggas have birthed. No, we're not doing that. You're not coming into this community and you're not going to acknowledge the ones who came before you. We're not doing that. And if you don't know who they are, read a fucking book. Nigga, read a book. Go and do your research. If you're going to research everything else, how dare you not research Delbert Blair? But you well read and everything. You ain't researched Delbert Blair? Nah, you need more people. I don't believe you. I'm from New York. You're not getting over on me. I ain't going for that one. And for the people that let niggas like that get over on them, shame on you. Dr. Henry Clark. Malcolm X. El Malik Shabazz. Yeah, legend. Dr. Sabi, a.k.a. Alfredo Bowman. Legend. You seen the Griselda shirts? Yeah. Dr. Asa Hillard. Legend, a legend. Hakeem Bey. A lot of people don't know about these people, but you got to learn who these people are, because these people precede everything that came after, and they laid the groundwork. A lot of the people, they laid the groundwork, and there's people out here that be running with the cloth and whatnot. You don't got to worry about all of that shit that they already laid it out. These people are regurgitating shit. They did the work. He got books called Moorish Paradigm, volume 1 to like 100 and change, dropping everything. Dawood, they ran with his cloth. They cloned him. Brother Dawood. When people be like, damn, I never heard of that person, you got to ask yourself why. Somebody is sitting around with 30 or 40 of their tapes and they're cloning them. They're taking their information and they're remixing them and they're popping out like they said it, but they are not the ones who said it. They're holding the fucking information, they're hoarding it, and they are cloning them. Understand what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Brother Dawood. Another legend, gone too soon. Taj Tariq Bey, they're cloning him. I see a bunch of baby Tajes running around. Taj clones and whatnot. C. Freeman L, they're cloning him. Rising Power, he got cloned too. Bobby Hemmett, he got cloned too. And he's alive. Dr. Phil Valentine. There's actually a white man by the name of Dr. Phil Valentine. He died of COVID. Dr. Phil Valentine L is here thriving. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Rising Power, an author of some very powerful books, a part of the what they would call the collegiate, there was all of the college professors, the collegiate teachers, the scholars, right? Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Jack Felder, right there. Dr. Jack Felder, another professor from the collegiate, but he was holding down 125th Street when I got out there. You know what I mean? He was the mayor of 25th. Yes, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, you know what I mean? Came through in the 20s and whatnot, had Black America lit, was trying to send some of y'all niggas back to Africa. You know what I'm talking about? The Black Star Liner, you know what I mean? All of that. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, he went viral back in the days in the New York Post and whatnot. City College, legend at City College, held it down. Father Allah, Clarence 13X. Okay, the legend. There you go. So yeah, that's just me paying homage to the Babas for Father's Day. You know what I mean? And imploring our people to overlook elders just because you young and shit. Don't overlook. I like the young people. I rock with some of the young people, but it's sort of like the young rappers. They don't give me goosebumps. They don't give me goosebumps. They all right, but they don't give me that feeling like that. It's like the young rappers. I had asked somebody, I was like, what young rappers out here giving out goosebumps? Give me the name, because the new wave in Atlanta with the Playboy Cardi clones, they all sound horrible. I mean, goddamn, there's only one Playboy Cardi, bro, but it's the same way. And they had all of the Young Thug clones, and all of them sound like hot garbage. All of these facsimiles and whatnot. You said Bob Marley, nigga. Bob Marley's a musician. That's what I'm saying. What are you talking about? These are not musicians, bro. Bob Marley's an entertainer. None of these men that you've seen as entertainers like that. Let's not cross. Let us not cross signals. These were not celebrities, bro. These are not entertainers. Bob Marley is in a class of himself. Okay, Muwata Ashby. See, y'all giving us names that I might have forgot. Thank you, because I damn sure had Muwata Ashby. I was inspired by him. And the brother that wrote the Medu Netter and Naeem Akbar. You know what I'm saying? These are all, damn, so many legends. My goodness. You would have never known. You would have never known. I got Sabir Bey is on my next one. Naeem Akbar. Yeah, I got Sabir on the next list. The next list would be the last one. I got Dr. Africa. I know Bob was more of an entertainer and whatnot. Oh shit, Savon Bomar. Damn. See? I don't want, is people gonna get mad at me? Oh man, Red, you taking favors? Fam, there's 20 slots on the quote unquote. If you brand new, I'm not putting you on the list. No disrespect. You gotta at least be in this shit for 5 years. I'm not putting all of the brand news out there. No disrespect. Because there's people who've been doing this shit for 100 years, 50 years, 30 years. They gotta get their time. They gotta get their slots. You know what I'm saying? But there's so many Babas, and I don't want to even say master teachers. Let's just say Babas. You know what I'm saying? Because there'd be a whole thing about, is that a master teacher? Is this a master teacher? No, let's just say the Babas of consciousness. Because I think that that's more fitting and everything. And then inside of that, you could be like, oh, that's a master teacher. You know what I'm saying? Oh, damn, you got Anthony Browder, Runoko Rashidi, right? Anthony Browder, Runoko Rashidi. Shit, Eugene Adams. Yikes. It's a lot, bro. I don't even know if I could fit all of these people in the park. I'm going to just do one of those reels. And just J.A. Rogers, Credo Mutwa, thank you. Shit. Yeah, you see, the list is just extensive. All right, I'm gonna have to put the new people in, I guess. But this is for the new people to learn. Cause I'm gonna start asking questions like, yo, what did this? We gotta start doing quizzes and shit. You know? Richard King for the melanin info. Damn, thank you. This list is very long. So it's like for my content creators, right? Shout out to the brother that did the whole documentary on Nature Boy, 50-part series and whatnot, right? Shout out to him. Dr. Claude Anderson, you see, I need my Ginkgo biloba because my dad told me the same thing. Boy, you better start taking some ginseng. I'm not forgetting them on purpose. I'm just forgetting them because there's so many of them. Clemson Brown is the elder that started the Transatlantic Productions. Thank you for that. Right? I got Yaki and on that list as well. I put Yaki in there. It's so many. Oh shit. Umar. Oh my goodness. What the hell am I? See? This is crazy. I would think I was taking favors and whatnot. You think I was taking favors under the table? I did not forget. Dr. Umar will make the list. I will not shit on Dr. Umar. I don't have no reason to do that. You know what I mean? Some people slip up and some people have, you know what I'm saying? If you're in jail right now, no disrespect to nobody, because you know we've all been through what we've been through. You feel me? We've all gone through what we've gone through. But y'all, I'll ask y'all in the audience. If you in jail, do you get on the list? Does I don't know. I can't say. Damn. That might be a disqualifier. If you're a political prisoner, then that's different. If you're a political prisoner, then we you know, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that in per se. But yeah, you know, these are the Babas, and Babas, you know, Babas have the right. They are, I'm not, it's a big world out there. There are people who are learning from men. Hell no, I ain't put no Nature Boy on that list. Come on, stop playing with me. What are you talking about? That wasn't even a thought. No, what the hell? No, that when I said the jail thing, I was not even talking about that boy. You know, no disrespect. General Seti is on the list. You know, but Babas, you know what I'm saying? The ones who have that type of energy, that they are, you know, responsible for who they're teaching. They're responsible with their teachings and whatnot, and they're staying focused and whatnot. And they don't got too much blemishes and things of that nature, because there has to be, you know what I mean? There needs to be a deterrent so people could be like, oh, I can't mess up, because if I mess up, then I'll lose Baba status. You know, because they don't have no penalties going on and shit like that. Yes, Naeem Akbar, I did acknowledge him, and I will have him on the list. Naeem Akbar, he's very unsung, but he played a pivotal role during the days of like Amos Wilson and whatnot. And he brought the psychology. He's very, Naeem Akbar's. I used to listen to Naeem Akbar on a video, on cassette tape. That's how far back he goes. He was like, you know, a cassette. His shit was cassettes. You know? Okay, Ra Nefer. Yeah. Ra Nefer. God damn, it's so many names. It's incredible. You know? It's literally a pantheon. What they call a pantheon. You know? This is not a monolithic type of thing. It doesn't just come out of New York and whatnot. It's not a New York thing. So I don't ever want nobody to think that we on some set tripping shit on some New York. Nah, that was just like sort of like the center of where it got amalgamated, or where it got where it coalesced and whatnot was 125th Street. But this is a global movement, ladies and gentlemen, a nationwide global movement that spans the continents. You feel me? Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all coming up with a lot of names. Y'all might have to do some lists as well, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw the alley oop. Y'all gonna have to do the list as well, cause that's a lot of names, bro. I gotta clean up their pictures and do a lot of stuff. Jose Pimente. Yeah. I remember reading that book. It blew my mind about the Moors. You know, it blew my mind and whatnot. You know, does young Pharaoh make the list? Man, man. Like I said, the disrespect towards the elders kind of disqualifies you. Like if you shitted on people who come before you, that's kind of hard, man. It's hard to. That's a hard call right there. You know, that's a hard call. You know, because to me, when I see certain people, it's you before and then after. It's like you before you disrespected the elders, and then you after. And it's like, it's hard, man. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, man. Let me sit with that one respectfully, you know, because I don't want to forsake anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to forsake nobody. I'm in videos with that young God, and I'm encouraging him. He was a problem. I had love for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm in videos encouraging him to do what he came to do. You know what I'm saying? I knew he was coming to clean up. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I wanted him to come and clean shit up. You know, he had that YN energy, and you know, it was like, let them in the door. We can't keep them outside. We can't keep them outside. Let the YNs in the door. But you know, as if with any type of energy like that, keep it contained. You know what I'm saying? You always got to keep shit like that. And when it get out of control, then sometimes we have what we see. You know, so shout out to all of the Babas out there, both known and unknown. Shout out to all of the brothers, the uncles. You know what I'm saying? Let us all continue to strive to be better. Let us all continue to strive to be upright. Let us look at these names and whatnot, because I promise you, I'm not saying these names like they perfect. Nobody is perfect. I don't look for perfection in men. You know what I'm saying? Because that's looking for somebody to worship. That's looking for somebody to kind of like, you know, pedestal and whatnot. And that is not what I'm doing here. I'm just acknowledging the fact that they had an impact on the hearts and minds of man, women, and child, because I was a child being impacted by them. And then women in my life, like my mother was impacted by these men as well and whatnot. So they impacted man, women, and child. I would look at who my mother was into, and then I would be into them. Like, oh, that's who my mom's is listening to. Oh, my mom, they caught my mother's attention. Oh, I'm they're gonna catch my attention as well. That's just how it was. So there's no distinguishing that. Nobody is trying to favor that. You know what I mean? This information is universal. You know, this information spans genders, nationalities. You know, there's people in the audience of different nationalities that were able to bask in the light of what these Babas have been laying out and whatnot. But what we're not going to do is on Father's Day, we're not going to contribute to the bashing. We're not going to contribute to the toxicity. We're not going to contribute to the quote unquote emoting that takes place where people are like hurting and whatnot. And I do acknowledge that there's hurt out there. I will never try to gloss over the missing father. I will never try to gloss over the abusive father. I would never try to gloss over the quote unquote the fathers that went past abuse and disgraced themselves and whatnot. Those are still things that need to be dealt with and talked about and, you know, fleshed out. But what I also won't do is I also won't continue to not sing the praises of these Babas and these teachers and these scholars and these frontliners that basically help save my life. I know they saved my life. I know where I would be without them. I don't know about nobody else. I know where I would be without them. Shit, I'd be in a bad place. I promise you. And I was in a bad place and whatnot for a while in my life. There was phases in my life, you know? There was phases in my life. And I went through some dark phases, you know? But yeah, we got more information. Let's get back to let's get to the Knicks. How about that? Let's touch on the Knicks before we get up out of here. How about some of this New York energy? Check this out. I bet y'all didn't know this.
You ever wondered why everything in New York is blue and orange? We got the Mets, the Islanders, obviously the Knicks, and all of their merchandise. 300 years ago, New York was known as New Amsterdam. The Dutch settlers that came brought their flag with them, and it was the prince's flag of the Dutch Republic. They would typically wear knickerbockers, and after the release of this book, this character, Father Knickerbocker, would become synonymous with New York. The colors of the Dutch flag became the colors of the official New York City flag and became the obvious choice for many of the sports teams. When the New York Knicks got their license in 1946, the administration put name suggestions in a hat, and the one result that kept coming up was the Knickerbockers. Ever since that, New York has been colored in orange and blue. So much so, it made its way into the foods. With New York's historic win of the NBA Finals, the colors can be seen everywhere throughout the city, on every fan, and every Air Force. So the question is, do you like this color combination? Would you wear this? And is there an honorable mention for the Rangers? Let me know in the comments if you find this drip universal and if it's a color combination worthy of a championship.
This is your thing or not. But if you want to ruin one of those people's day, then send them this clip of Mamdani giving the best speech you've ever heard at a sporting event of any kind.
The New York Knicks are NBA champions. On televisions in the windows of electronic stores and from projectors balanced on fire escapes. We waited as the memory of Willis Reed winning the championship on one leg grew fainter and fainter. As John Starks dunked on Jordan and Patrick Ewing dunked on the Pacers. And as Melo lived every Brooklyn dreams when he came home and made MSG feel like the center of the universe once again. As the Knicks kept winning, our city has come together as one. Neighbors invited neighbors over. Strangers high-fived one another in the street. Game 4. The Knicks are down 20. The analytics guys, the sports betting companies, they give the Spurs a 99.6% chance of winning the game. It is in that 0.4% that Jose Alvarado shows every kid growing up in public housing that a son of Brooklyn and Queens can win for every one of the 5 boroughs. What is New York if not your back up against the wall? A dream that feels just out of reach, a rent payment you don't know how you'll ever make. What is New York if not 99.6% of the world stacked against you? One last time, New York, say it with me. Nixon! Nixon!
I'm trying to think of a decent way to say this. He's a lot cooler than almost every single Republican. Like, people actually like him, I guess.
You see how they interject politics and sports, right? And you see how the machine is a motherfucker, boy. The machine, like they said in the movie The Matrix, the machine or the Matrix knows how to respond. Once people start catching on to the Matrix, it falls back and recreates itself and pops back out. So he's a new version of the Matrix. He's a new version of the politicians or the politricks. He's a new version of the quote unquote slick talking. You know, he's an Obama. He's an Obama figure. Look at him. They already talking about a motherfucking potential presidential run with this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? The gift of gab. You know what I mean? And they building this myth around this man like he's good luck. Like he's the good luck charm. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the answer. So you're going to see these Democrats or these Democrats, because Westmore just got exposed for being with Peter Thiel. So there goes his presidential run, right? Westmore was the next one up. He was the next one. He was supposed to be the next one. He's supposed to be their golden boy. But he with them other boys right now. He with the Village. You know what I'm talking about? He's singing YMCA with Peter Thiel in them. You dig? Check out this New York shit, man. Crazy out here. And when y'all be wondering, like, damn, what's going on with them new, like when y'all wonder why we need our medicine, because this is where we come from. This is where we come from. That's why we be like, we off our meds, my nigga, because this is our city. One thing New York gonna do, they're gonna come outside. This is the most outside state in the union. You shoot up the football. This is the most today was the most, today broke a record for the most call outs from work ever. They said, not in New York, I think, anywhere. Dead ass. This was the most call outs today from work, fam. You know, they was turning up, but not that bad and whatnot. There was a few incidents, but you know, I'm sure y'all seen them. I'm not gonna play it, but yeah, they was a little, you know, they was turned. The city was turned. They took over, yeah, the police, NYPD who? Niggas was stepping all over the police cars. NYPD who? Y'all just work for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing about my city that I respect. They do not respect authority. They not going for that. They don't give a, if there's one place where they'll do something right in front of police, it's New York City. So do not ever think that your ass is gonna be protected by law enforcement. It don't work like that out there. It really doesn't. I think it does not. Trust. And that's not to put no fear in nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's just understand how certain places work. Atlanta is somewhat like that as well. Them niggas will do something crazy to you in front of police because the police is, you know what I mean? The police is us in Atlanta. It's like they eating lemon peppers with you and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah. But theoretically, it turned into Gotham in 2020. Remember the movie The Joker came out around the same time. The Joker, the first one with Joaquin Phoenix, came out in 2019. I remember being in London and me and Blue went to the movie theaters. They making a big deal about the Joker. But in the movie The Joker showed New York City turning into Gotham City. And literally a few months later in 2020, it switched over into Gotham City. And theoretically speaking, it has not gone back. It's still on Gotham. And this just kind of turned the knob up a little bit more. So once again, I ask y'all, do you think I should spend the summer in New York? My dad is even asking me to come out there. And I'm talking to my son too. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I might shift the operations to the town. I think the town needs me. You know what I'm talking about? I think the town needs me. But I do got work to do out there. We working on some things. Got the album. Yeah, Voltron is on the way. Got the documentary. A few other things. So it just might make sense. You know what I'm saying? And I did promise a 72 clause in New York City if them boys won. And that's definitely about to go down. That's definitely about to go down. So let's get into this World Cup shit. You know what I mean? Because that's the other big thing coming up right now. Big World Cup energy. Let's go.
Bread and circus aside, distractions aside, the World Cup is exactly what the elites are terrified of. And I'm not talking about the soccer match. People from other countries are getting along with each other. For example, Scottish people are celebrating and dancing with Haitian people. Americans are getting along with people outside the country. Latinos and Africans are celebrating together. It's beautiful. Yes, we could direct that energy outside of sports, but I truly see this as a beautiful blueprint that the demons in power are terrified of. I mean, think about it. The people at the top spend trillions of dollars, generation after generation, building borders, weaponizing corporate media, and engineering massive systemic division and distractions just to keep us at each other's throats. They want us trapped in perpetual hatred because a fractured population is an easily managed population. The root cause of almost every global conflict is not that ordinary human beings naturally hate each other. It's that the industrial war machine and political elites need us to hate each other to maintain their grip on global wealth and power and control and manipulation. They build psychological cages out of nationalism, capitalism, race, and geographic lines, praying we never look past them. But then an event like this happens, and for a brief moment, their entire multi-trillion-dollar matrix of division completely shorts out. The script flips. The public is supposed to be blind, angry, and isolated, but instead, you look at the streets and see the absolute reality of human consciousness when it's left alone by corporate handlers. You see a Scottish person locked arms, dancing and laughing with a Haitian person. You see Americans completely dropping the typical isolationalist arrogance and embracing people from across the globe. You see Latinos and Africans sharing the exact same frequency of pure joy, celebrating side by side under the open sky, under the same blue sky. And look, I completely get the cynical argument. People say it's just a game, it's a temporary distraction, it's bread and circuses to keep us compliant. And yeah, I agree. The corporate sponsors use it that way, for sure. We absolutely could and should direct this massive raw human energy towards tearing down the actual systems that oppress us outside of sports and use sports to keep us distracted. But if you stop looking at the corporate logos and look at the actual spirit of the people on the ground, you see something much deeper. This is not just a sport. It is a living, breathing blueprint of what the world is supposed to look like. It is a glimpse of an unmanipulated humanity. The demons in power are completely petrified of this exact image because it proves their biggest lie wrong. Their entire survival depends on us believing that unity is an impossible utopian fairy tale. They want us to believe that different cultures are fundamentally incompatible, so we keep funding their wars and hiding behind their borders.
Yo, that Michael Jackson energy from that movie though, cause you know that's Mr. We Are the World. That I Show Speed energy when he went around Africa and the Caribbean. Like this energy, yo, this is some shit right here, man. For yeah. It's a wave going on right now. Y'all gotta tap into this shit. This shit different.
But when billions of people watch regular, working class humans from every single corner of the earth look into each other's eyes, smile, hug, and recognize their shared humanity without an intermediary, the illusion cracks. They realize that if we can effortlessly unite over a ball on a patch of grass, we can just as easily unite to refuse their wars, bypass their economic traps, and dismantle their corporate tables entirely. The solution to the global crisis is not found in a political policy or a corporate boardroom. The solution is already written right there in the streets during these moments. We have to take that exact blueprint, strip it away from the stadium, and carry it back into our daily realities. We have to violently protect that direct human-to-human connection when the flags are packed away and the screens go dark. Stop letting centralized powers dictate who your enemy is. Look past the engineered noise, recognize the global family, and realize that the only thing keeping the world in darkness is our willingness to believe the people who profit from our division. The power has always been within us, collectively, as humans. We just have to wake up and stop letting them tell us how to feel.
Now, you know who the kings of this tournament are. You know who's shining. You know who's on the mother effing come up. And if they take this shit, that is going to shift the mother effing paradigm in ways that we never seen. Big up to motherfucking Africa.
World Cup, man. I always have this sense of...
But this shit is a colonial game in Technicolor. If you know what you're looking at, there are narratives with every single one of these games, y'all. There are narratives with every single, this not just no regular game. The soccer ball is one thing, that's one thing, but there's narratives behind all of these countries that are playing each other, y'all. And the Africans are shining. They are putting these Europeans on motherfucking notice. Even these teams have hijacked Africans as their talent, bro. These xenophobic, quote unquote, colonialists, doctrine of discovery type of countries, they all being exposed for the fact that y'all don't got no goddamn talent. The only one is them Nordics and whatnot. They're gonna take their asses down. We gotta take them down. They got some tall ass Vikings running around and shit. They need to get taken down. But as for the what's them, all of these Messis and the Ronaldos and all of them, yeah, they getting packed up. Yeah, they out there doing voodoo on these niggas. Yeah, they getting packed up.
I'm not annoyed, but I'm like, we could be doing much better with our talent if we could just keep them homegrown. Why is it that all the best African players always choose to play for the European leagues? Like, what are we doing in Africa? Why can't we keep our talent? Why can't we nurture the talent and stop being so corrupt and just not fair to these players? Real question, like, why is it that Africa cannot keep all these talent? I mean, look at these players. These are the top players in the European League, some of the best. All African, but representing European countries. What is going on?
So somebody said Africa is a continent. Well, I'm talking about the motherfucking Congo, Cape Verde. Yeah, y'all could, deport me to Cape Verde. I'm about to act up. What police car I need to stand on top of? Huh? Yeah, deport me to Cape Verde, nigga. You seen him? Yeah.
Any player that could come out to speak on what happened at the Spain-Egypt game yesterday. I am glad it was Lamine Yamal. Because in case you don't know, in yesterday's Spain versus Egypt game, the Spanish fans were doing racist chants against Egypt, where not only were they whistling and booing the entire time that the Egyptian national anthem was going on, but they were also chanting, whoever doesn't jump is a Muslim. And the crazy thing is that Spain's best player is a Muslim. So Lamine Yamal decided.
This is Spain we talking, ladies and gentlemen. The same people who try to act like they was banging on Is It Real? This is where this is the beginning of this fucking tragedy. Spain, Española. Remember when I went overseas to the Latin side and I'm like, hello, we need to talk. We need to talk. This Spaniard shit, I saw it in real life. It's real. They got a whole fucking continent lit with this racism. This shit is ingrained in Latin America. So now we're getting to see this shit on the soccer field and whatnot. What state are they all in? Where they at? Because they got different states are hosting them. What state got Spain?
Ready to come out and speak on the Spanish fans, where Lamine Yamal stated, I am a Muslim. Yesterday, I heard the chant that the one who doesn't jump is a Muslim, even saying that he knows it was for the rival team and that it wasn't something personal against him, but that the fact that he is also a Muslim doesn't stop it from being disrespectful and that it is completely intolerable, even stating that he understands that all fans are not like this, but those that say things about a religion and use it as a mockery are completely ignorant and racist people. Football is to be enjoyed and encouraged, not disrespect people for what they believe in. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, this reminds me of what Mesut Özil went through, where he even stated, I am German when we win, but when I lose, I am an immigrant. So shout out to Lamine Yamal, because if there's any player in the world that can make an impact on the Spanish fans, it is Lamine Yamal. With even Vinicius Jr. seeing the post and liking it, because as we know, he is a very strong supporter against racism.
Nah, fam. Y'all niggas pack your bags and get the fuck out of there. I ain't going with all of that. You tweeting and you and your feelings. No, nigga, it's 2026. Pack it up. You could go play for anybody else. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. People are going to be sinking with them ships. They're going to go down with these sinking ships. This is not the time to pussyfoot. It's the fire horse year. You got to pick a side. You got to pick a side. I think it's the World Cup. You got to pick a jersey. You know what I'm talking about? We're not having all of that. You trying to play double dutch and switch side. No, that it don't go down like that no more. No. Leave them people alone. Leave them people alone. You already know what it is, right? Let's go to Latin America real quick.
Afro-Latinos struggle to be part of the Black diaspora. Not because Blackness is absent in Latin America, but because a lot of Latin American countries built their national identities by pushing Blackness away. Brazil and the DR are two really good examples of this. Different histories, different languages, but the same pattern. Both countries filter racial identity through a long list of labels that sit somewhere in between black and white. Mestizo, moreno, pardo, índio. With all these labels, the message ends up being that there's always a better label that's not black. And those ideas didn't come out of nowhere. In Brazil, after 300 years of slavery, the country...
That's where me no black come from. That's where me no black, me mestizo, right? It's a programming from the conquistadors. That's the programming from the conquistadors, more so than them just not liking black, right? Because I promise you, when I was in Colombia, I was like, no, me amor, nigga, me amor. They was calling me negrito, and no, nigga, me amor. What the fuck? What's a negrito? Nah, chill. No, chill. Me no negro. No negrito, nigga. I don't like that. I don't even know what the fuck is that.
Identities by pushing blackness away.
That's like a nigga calling you colored. The fuck is that? I don't even like how that sounds. Negrito. Nigga gringo. Fuck, nigga, you a gringo. Nigga, negrito? Negrito? No, nigga. I don't even like how that's rolling off of your tongue.
Brazil and the DR are two really good examples of this. Different histories, different languages, but the same pattern. Both countries filter racial identity through a long list of labels that sit somewhere in between black and white. Mestizo, moreno, pardo, índio. With all these labels, the message ends up being that there's always a better label that's not black. And those ideas didn't come out of nowhere. In Brazil, after 300 years of slavery, the country promoted the idea that their racial mixing was proof that racism was not a problem anymore. Ironically, at the same time, Brazil also promoted whitening, encouraging European white immigration and promoting mixture as a way to dilute the country's blackness. In the DR, national identity was built around opposition to Haiti. So blackness was built around something over there, something that's only Haitian, that's foreign. Even though Dominican identity itself was shaped by African ancestry and black resistance. So the issue isn't that Latinos exist outside of the black diaspora. The issue is that we inherited national myths that told us to rename blackness before we could ever claim it.
So they're beginning to learn. That's why, like in Brazil, they going crazy over natural hair and whatnot. It's similar to like chocolate Godiva. They are at level. They're at like first grade in consciousness. They're at like first grade in it. You know what I mean? There's levels to it. They're like at first grade, second grade, third grade. They're at their awake stage. They didn't even get to woke yet. They're literally just at their awake stage. You know. That's where they're at with it. So they're learning from our people, but you got to just make sure that they're learning from the right people, because they could wind up coming out of a deep stupor and falling into a deeper stupor by like tapping in with Benjamin Crump, you know, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, like you just got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? You got to point them to the right direction. You know, real quick, a little update on some of the things going on locally. Let's check it out.
Thought I was done with the Carmelo Anthony case. I'm absolutely not. I'm absolutely hands-on, full throttle with this case. Thanks, Jedediah. Appreciate you. Charleston White, you foul as fuck. I'll get to you in a minute, though. But Sarah Fields, this is about you, because how you blatantly made a statement and just blatantly lied, talking about you saw the Carmelo Anthony video when you never in fact saw the video, because you do have to sign in to view the video, and it says that you did not see the video. But you know who did see the video? Morris Turner. Morris Turner got up here and said that Carmelo was jumped by Austin and his pale-faced brother and a couple of other people. He said it was 4 people that jumped on him. And why ain't nobody on Eddie's ass? Because Eddie clearly knew Carmelo since they was little kids, and then got on the stand and said, I don't know you. So why ain't nobody going after fucking Eddie? Eddie, yeah, we on your ass too. But Sarah Fields, you didn't see that tape. They also send out an email after you view the tape to let everybody know that you have seen the tape. You see, this is Morris Turner's email that he got after he saw the tape. Just provide us with the receipts if you so-called saw the tape.
A $5,000 bond. If you don't know who this man is, this is the man that shot off at a family, a black family, okay, with an AR-15 dressed in full body armor. Jeffrey Tyler Kinzer was so pissed off because he couldn't get the reaction he wanted from black people after calling them every racial slur he could think of. So he went back to his house. He got in full body armor. He walked down the street with an AR-15 and he shot off at this black family that was just having a gathering and minding their own goddamn business. Keep in mind, this man was shooting at children and elderly women who had to drop to the ground because bullets were flying all over the fucking place. And I thank God for that black man who was an ex-Marine who was able to protect his family from this crazy ass man. This motherfucker only got one charge, and the charge was assault. Not attempted murder, not a hate crime, assault. So when I say that white people can unalive black people and get away with it, here's a fucking example.
Are told to leave a park because they're making other people uncomfortable.
We're fine with them being here.
Once again, I don't want nobody to be triggered, but these saltines are acting up. We are slowly approaching what is known as the Jason months. All right, July, August, September, October, November. Obviously, there's a memo going around and they are energy harvesting and trying to get our people's attention, but they are on the attack. Okay. They are definitely on the attack. I don't know what they are cooking up and whatnot. I guess because Iran is whooping their ass or what. I don't know what's going on. But these people is on attack. So I'm going to play this video, but don't get triggered.
Are you uncomfortable with them being here?
Mind you, there's a black man there.
Are you kidding
Black
me?
officer. But there's a war against the youth. Regardless, don't make this a color thing. There's a war against the messianic ones. There's a war against the messiahs. There's a war against what they misnomered them the YNs. There's a war. Remember they was wearing quarter zips and whatnot and drinking matchas. We had like a shift taking place and they were dropping flags and shit like that. And there was momentum and whatnot. But the rappers didn't promote none of that shit. The podcast didn't promote none of that shit. Ray Daniels and these niggas didn't promote none of that shit. They didn't get the promotion that they needed. The program directors didn't promote that. The Shade Room didn't promote it. Spiritual World didn't promote it. Young Miami and them didn't promote it. So we just got back to the YN energy, right? It just shifted back into the YN energy, right? So now they're targeting these young kids and whatnot, and they're trying to fill these jails up. And they want to push buttons. But when they attack these children, know that they're attacking the parents as well. But they're using something that is an easy target, which is the youth. Okay. Yeah, the YNs definitely got them switches now. So yeah. So now the white people said that they was threatened and they don't want these young black boys to be in a park, a public park where they have every right to be at. Right. But because you have these neighborhoods that are being somewhat gentrified and whatnot, these people are they making Karen calls to get our children somewhat attacked.
They're literally just sitting on the bench doing nothing. If they would maybe, why is the basketball court not open? That makes no sense to me. They don't want you sitting around, but they don't have a basketball court open for you to do anything. Make that make sense.
This actually happens in Edwardsville, Pennsylvania, and apparently this was at a festival. 2 teens were actually arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Now, I found this clip also, and I believe that this is from the same festival and the same teens. Take a look.
I'm telling you to back up. Don't tell me I'm talking about. I'm telling you to back up.
That was not unnecessary. Hell no.
Yeah, everybody's sitting down.
Right.
See how those white men, see how everybody's just sitting down eating like life goes on and this ain't even taking place. They just eating a fucking barbecue.
No, that one wanted him bad.
You see them sitting down?
Shows you how big your is.
Stay down.
Nobody's standing up.
You're in our world. Yeah, that's what a white person would say. That's what a white cop would say.
All of them look like JD
Reached out to
fans.
the Westside Regional Police Department for an explanation on why these teens who were bothering nobody were treated this way.
Now, I got to keep it balanced, right? Because we have situations like this, yes, right? But we also have these situations.
See, it means something. You know, Jackson mean Jack, some, and Mississippi mean murder capital.
For 5 years in a row, Jackson, Mississippi has recorded the highest homicide rate in America.
I know motherfucker got 100 murders and ain't never been in jail in their life.
Residents can't drink the
Now you got to remember, these are the videos that they're watching. You know, when they say, yo, the cops is watching the internet, nigga, they're watching these videos. They watch Chud the Builder was watching these videos. Trap Law Ross and them send them to the Chud the Builders. Academics, DJ Academics, Aiden Ross, Vlad, and Adam 22. This is called poverty porn and whatnot. They are watching these type of videos to build up their hate, to build up their fear, to build up their resentment, to build up their justifications to hanging people. That's why you finding these children hanging and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, they committed suicide and what? No, nigga.
Tapwater, and the prosecutor and former mayor are both on trial.
You gotta watch everybody in Jackson. I don't even trust myself.
What's life like there? We explored the urban jungle to find out, and this is what we found.
What you get is capital city of Mississippi, block away from the state capital, you know, these abandoned houses.
They're waiting.
So this is where you get your honeycomb brazies. You know what I mean? These niggas is crazy out there. Okay? So they're justifying, they're using things like this to justify their hate, even though we know that this is just a small segment and whatnot. But they're using stuff like that. They're using this, and they're using this right here. Remember about the prisoner pipeline
I just
network.
saw the guy that's interviewing people on the street, making them read stuff. Y'all, these kids can't read. It's not even funny. Like, at first I was like, haha, they got it wrong. None of these kids can read. They can't read words like dedication.
So remember, when it comes to the prison, when it comes to the school to prison pipeline, it's predicated on your reading skills. It's predicated on your literacy. So it's at a certain point. If you cannot read, they'll open up a cell for you. They actually have a bed for you. So they're doing this on purpose where these children cannot read, y'all. Okay? This is what they're doing on purpose. This is all by design.
Perseverance. Epitome. What the fuck is happening? It's actually very scary because these are the new adults. These are the new doctors, the new lawyers, the new everything. And they can't even read. But ask them about throwing some wham in a circle and fat asses and BBLs and what's going on in celebrity news. That's terrifying. Dove up.
So even if they can't read at this point, the $1 million question is, can they comprehend? Can they think? Right? Because even with some of the tools that we're working with, we can actually teach children, even if they can't read. We can actually help them create. We can actually help them learn. We can actually help them improve, right? Can they think? Can they imagine? Can they dream? Because the reading thing is out of our hands. I don't think that there's going to be, it's going to be hard to get that shit going, but we still can make something happen with them. They don't have to go to prison. They don't have to be considered to be useless eaters. They don't have to be thrown away. They do not have that. That does not have to be their fate, but somebody is going to have to be able to catch them. They need somebody that's going to be able to catch them, is going to speak to them and let them know that all is not lost. You know what I'm saying?
First, I want to say to Cohen Wiley's family, I am so sorry. I am so sorry y'all lost y'all baby. I am so sorry. But over diapers, you shot into a car. You were reckless. That police officer was reckless. You shot into a car in a parking lot that could have had pedestrians walking around. So shooting into that car could have also got someone else hit. And you took a life, a 1-year-old baby, over some fucking diapers. Diapers! God damn, every time I turn around, y'all are unaliving us for the stupidest shit of what?
Now, it's not about what's going to happen in this situation. That's not what's happening. That is not what we are focusing on. We're focusing on the psychological, mental health, and the preconditions of Black women, because they are absorbing the pain. They are absorbing, and when they hit the babies, the fathers is hurting, but it's the mothers in particular. I've seen this happen before. I've seen it, and this was the shit that created the powder keg of George Floyd, because Black women were taking in too much pain. They were taking in too much hurt. Because they are the compassion. It's almost like the village mentality. When you see something happen to Tamir Rice, you might brush it off like, damn, I don't even want to look at that. That's so disturbing. It's just heavy on my heart and whatnot. But they inundate you with all of this trauma. It's called Black trauma, and people are having something called Black fatigue. But it's not necessarily Black fatigue is causing cancer. Black fatigue is causing heart attack. Black fatigue is causing organ failure. So we got to understand what they're doing. It has nothing to do. These are microaggressions. No, this is major shit that's hitting the heart chakra. It's hitting the organs. It's making people, it's making women say they just want to shut down. It's shutting down the nervous system. Okay? So understand the trauma that they are inflicting upon our people through these microaggressions and whatnot, because the cases keep coming. I showed you, I didn't even prepare it like this, but it is of no coincidence if I started one series on What the F Wednesdays, and then the next What the F Wednesdays is another child, and then the next What the F Wednesdays is another child. I didn't set it up like that. It just so happens that every Wednesday comes around, they're giving us another body. They're giving us another story to cover. I did not create that. I did not create that cycle. It just so happens that it keeps falling on Wednesdays and whatnot. And it's been doing that for 3 weeks in a row. So when I look at that, I'm like, nah, this is psyops. These are psyops. Okay? These are psyops. Like you saw earlier, they have secret societies. If the billionaires got a secret societies, then what the hell do you think the goddamn rednecks have? If the billionaires have a secret society where they're talking about how to navigate World War III, then the rednecks have a secret society on how to start World War III. Because shit goes down, the shit rolls downhill. And these people control with their money and their influence and whatnot. So if the billionaires are getting together and they're smacking bellies and whatnot, and they're doing all type of foul shit in private and whatnot, what do you think they're doing it for? This part of we got to study something called the cathedral. The cathedral is the whole it's not a theory, it's a system that Curtis Yarvin and all of them put out. Curtis Yarvin is the person who he's in control of Peter Thiel. He's Peter Thiel's master teacher. He's JD Vance's master teacher, and they have something called a dark enlightenment and whatnot. So Curtis Yarvin and them, they have something called the cathedral, and the cathedral is basically let me pull it up. Let me pull it up because I could show you better than I could tell you. So the cathedral is basically the system. It's the way that the system is set up, right? So the people that you saw is somewhere at the top of the cathedral with this little private club, which is basically it's an Epstein thing. It's the Epstein thing. You know what I'm saying? It's basically the Epstein thing. You know what I'm saying? Is without Epstein being there, it's just the same type of cabal that they exposed with the Epstein emails and whatnot. It's the same thing. It never went anywhere. They never switched up. They never changed. They didn't even go. They didn't even go into hiding. They're still carrying on the bullshit. You know what I mean? They're still carrying on all the fuckery and whatnot. They didn't do nothing. Nothing changed. You know, not a thing. So here's the cathedral. We're going to get into it deeper when we do the Fear of a Black and More Messiah at the end of the month. We're going to go very deep into all of this. That shit might be about 8 hours. Like, I got a lot to talk about. They giving me a lot to talk about. So here's the cathedral. It's the power and institutions map. So you have the universities, you have the media, and you have the government. The cathedral, basically New York Times, the Supreme Court, and the media running shit, creating what is known as perception reality. They are the ones who they create a perception-based reality based off the fact that they control all of these things. Media and academia plays a big part in the programming, right? They control the books, they control the histories, as you can see with Homegirl's father, Robert Maxwell and whatnot. He was controlling the textbooks, Fox News and whatnot, Rupert Murdoch and whatnot. They're controlling the media, Silverstein, Oracle and whatnot, media control, perception control, like I showed you earlier with Century of Self, with the fact that they created Hollywood and they created the simulacra and they created reality as we know it. Reality as we know it, it's not real. It is a layer. Okay, it's a substrate, and the same way that y'all finding the mud flood in Tartaria, and everything is buried on top of each other. Well, yes, everything is buried on top of each other. This fake world is buried on is put on top of a real world. They built a fake world, a fake reality. They poured cement, they poured dirt and cement, which is not real. It suffocated the land and whatnot. They poured all of that shit on top of a real world, and they got us. Don't you know when you driving on a highway, you don't feel like you're elevated when you're driving on a highway and shit? You feel like you're like 50 feet above something. Yeah, you 50 feet above a fucking black town that they buried and shit. You know what I mean? The towns are not only underneath water like Oscarville over there. They don't even have, they got towns underneath water, but they also buried the towns underneath highways. You know what I mean? You on a highway, you feel elevated. Like, damn, I don't feel like I'm on a ground level. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. Yeah. All that shit under that is like mass graves and whatnot. You know? Mass graves. The same place where they had that's why when I heard where the parade was at, I was like, nah, I ain't going. They marching past the burial, the African burial grounds and whatnot by City Hall. That's where all of the federal jail niggas was marching past the jails, central bookings, where they got all these black people, melanated people locked up in storage and whatnot. And then all the way down there is the burial grounds. And Manhattan is sinking, and they got 9/11 over there. I'm good. I'm like, nah, the spirits might pop out on niggas. I'm good. I don't want to be, it's too many people gonna be over there, and they not burning enough sage for me. You know what I'm talking about? I watched that shit on the Zenith. On the Zenith. I'm not gonna be there. I don't want to be there for that.
Bag of Skittles. Walking home with your groceries, sleeping in your fucking bed, buying a goddamn lottery ticket.
Hug these women. I mean, of course, you better ask permission. But man, if you see one, hug them. Our sisters need a hug. We the men, we the warriors. you get in the ground, men, ground, get roll in the grass and shit, touch grass. You know what I'm saying? Touch grass, roll around, ground your energy, find a way to offset some of this trauma that you may be holding in your heart and in your liver and in your organs and whatnot. But definitely for these women and whatnot, massages, hugs, forehead kisses, you know, let them feel safe. You might want to pull the blicky out and whatnot and just, clean the bullets in front of them. Let them know, give them a feeling of safety, because even if they don't say it, they in their Young Miami era right now. Even if they they like, oh, it's a hot girl summer. Even if they preparing to be on some fuckery this summer and pop out, still understand that their subconsciousness is still in a certain type of space, because they pick up on the subtleties. They hear the dog whistles. They understand what the hell is going on, man. Their nervous system understands what's going on. It picks up on things. And there's some things happening behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, a little bit around the scenes and whatnot. So we got to try our best this summer to be of a support system and find a way to just click up and get together. It needs to be platonic. You know what I'm talking about? Keep your, you know what I mean? That, like, we don't need to be, just keep it platonic. You know what I mean? Work on that energy. You know what I'm saying? Work on healing, my niggas. And just use that energy of attraction to build something and make something. You feel me? This is not the summer of love, my niggas. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't, you know what I mean? It's not time for that. And I don't mean to be policing y'all sexualities and your energies and whatnot, but I don't think it's time for all of that. I think it's time for us to create some shit. Use that attraction energy that we naturally have for one another and create some shit. Remember, hip hop was created in 1973 after the Knicks won the chips, and they didn't even have a ticker tape parade. They didn't even have a ticker tape parade. So there's a creative energy in the air right now. There's something that needs to be created. There's a culture. There's a new culture that needs to be created. There's a new way of getting our money up and whatnot that needs to be created. There's an avenue. There's a void that we can fill. There's a problem that we could solve that could make a lot of us wealthy and whatnot. Let's figure that out. Cafunia, I'm going to need you to talk to the people in New York. I need a residency in the motherfucking town, because what I won't be coming to do, I'm not coming to New York to stand on 125th Street. I need a residency. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be somewhere where I could be teaching every day, teaching this AI. You know what I'm talking about? Teaching this AI. You know what I mean? Teaching the babies and whatnot, teaching my people, my peers and whatnot. I need that type of energy, at least 3 or 4 days out of the week. I ain't gonna be seeing me every day, but at least 3 or 4 days so I could teach our people how to make some fucking bread. You know what I'm talking about? Any minute that I stand on 125th Street is a waste of time. I'm not coming back for that. I will come back for a residency. They got niggas in Vegas. They got Jeezy doing a snowman in Vegas. We'll set up a residency in New York for the kid. You know what I'm talking about? Let's do that.
Like, y'all do not see black people as fucking human. And it's evident. And we don't have to prove it to y'all, because it's happening to us every fucking day. Y'all prove it to us every fucking day that y'all don't see even our children, our babies, as human. I thank God sometimes he did not allow me to have kids. Because anybody that would take my child's life, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're going down with them. Every naked mole rat that will say she shouldn't have been stealing, she paid for it. She had her fucking receipt.
Yeah, so our sisters, they mad at the Beckys, they getting them, you know what I mean? It's just like for the sisters and everybody that's been in these shows over the look, Janice to Jan. Remember, from Janice to Jason. What did that mean? From January, we started this conversation leading up to Jason, leading up to the Jason months, and we had called it. We was like, yo, this strip of 6 months from January to motherfucking Jason, let's keep our eyes open, because they're going to be cooking and whatnot. And cook they did. So I feel that we already got vaccinated. We like kind of impervious to being caught up into the psyops because it's like, nah, nigga, we see what y'all doing. We hip to that. We know that y'all all crashing out. You know what I'm saying? We know that y'all all crashing out. So we're not really affected by it like that. So we more of a support system than people that's in the audience boo-hooing and whatnot and going through their emotions. Nah, we're going to be the support system because there's a lot of people that's caught off guard. They don't know what's going on around them, have no idea, completely in wilderness. And their hearts are being hit by these situations and whatnot. You feel me? They're strumming on the strings of their emotions.
The jury found Cody Rawlinson not guilty in the death of 10-year-old Jordan Hill. And now people are questioning whether race played a role in the verdict.
On April 6, 10-year-old Jordan Hill was killed while he was riding an ATV. The driver who hit him was identified as Cody Rawlinson, who fled the scene after the crash. According to Emmett County detectives, 911 calls started coming just before noon on Sunday, April 6th. When emergency crews arrived on scene, they found Jordan Hill dead at the crash site and Cody Rawlins' pickup truck nowhere in sight. Later that day, police arrested Rawlinson and charged him with possession of marijuana and felony leaving the scene of an accident. Rawlinson was released on a $41,000 bond for both charges.
After deliberating, the jury, an all-white jury, returned a not guilty verdict, leaving Jordan's loved ones heartbroken and outraged. His mother says she feels the justice system failed their family despite what she believed was overwhelming evidence shown in court.
So, as Juneteenth rolls around tomorrow, and our people pop out with their colorful outfits on, and we find reason to, come together and celebrate. What I would say the message that I would put out there for anybody that considers themselves to be the allies, but this message has to go to white folks. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else that we need to be talking to but white folks, right? We see you at the parade, white folks. You know what I'm talking about? We see y'all enjoying what we doing, right? We see y'all enjoying our culture. We see y'all infatuated with our way of life and just our culture, our lemon pepper wings. Like we see y'all. And if there's anybody that's going to do something, it's going to be y'all, because we're not doing nothing. You feel me? We're not doing nothing. It's going to have to be y'all. Y'all got to set it off. Y'all got to clean up your own backyards. Y'all are responsible for cleaning up your own people. Okay? Because if y'all say that y'all know what needs to be done. Y'all know what needs to be done. This is not on us. We've been fighting this shit for so long. No, y'all know what needs to be done. And do something. Because it's going to fuck around and get uncomfortable for y'all. Because y'all can't come over here and y'all damn sure can't go back over there. So where y'all going to go? And we don't need no white people exposing other white people. The time for that is over with. They've been in. We don't need that. We need y'all to do something. We need y'all to fix up your families. That's what we need. Bring us the receipts. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for your time. I want to say thank you for your energy. I want to say thank you for your attention. I want to say thank you. Y'all was with us for this is a one of those shows that we stretched out. You know what I mean? Third Eye Thursdays, New York City won and the USA lost. And when I say the USA, I'm talking about the corporation. I'm talking about these crazy ball heads and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I'm speaking about. So with that being said, few announcements. Techno Bowl is coming up at the end of the month. Techno Bowl IRL with me and Spin City. This one is going to be a big one. You know what I mean? Look out for the flyer. We dropping that very, very soon. We have the Get Money Workshop with me and the good brother Hits IU. That is almost coming to an end. I need y'all to tap into that one right there. We're doing big things in this one. Big things and whatnot. So make sure y'all pull up for this workshop. Yes. And Fear of a Black Amor Messiah. That is at the end of the month on the 28th. All right. And we're going to have a commercial rolling out for that as well. All right. Here is my Cash App. I want to say happy Father's Day to all of my barbers out there, my grandfathers, my uncles. Even if you don't have a biological, thank you for just being a big brother. Thank you for being an uncle. And thank you for assisting the fathers that are out there, because we can't do this on our own. I promise you, this fatherhood thing, this is not a walk in the park. The same way that the motherhood thing, we need the village, man. We need the village. And as you can see, look at the beauty of the village. Look at the left right there. Look at the beauty of the village. They celebrating sports and whatnot, but nonetheless, this is the village. This is what it looks like when the hearts come together on one frequency. I would rather this than the shit that you see over here with Donald Trump. I would rather the unification than the putrefaction, than the putrefaction. So let's take the spirit of the winners and let's go ahead and prepare the table for the dinner so we can all eat. And with that being said, peace, love, and light, family. We are out of here. All right. Theta wave.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting all magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual Clarence 13X, a worthy guest. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down a cherry tree in the wilderness of North Amex. And we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like porch lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blast.